we go. Hey guys, welcome back. How's it going? Good to see your faces. You see those cameras coming on. Good to see you. All right. I love you guys are so quick. Like you're here, you're the early ones. You got like front of the class. Perfect. Marie, Taylor, Kay. Hi guys, welcome back. All right, let's do some sharing, huh? Question of the day is what is the biggest aha moment you've had so far? And what have you implemented? So I would love for you guys to drop that in the chat. Drop your states, where you're from, what your business name is again, too. I think that's always great to see who's here. Connect with some people that are local to you as well. And then we'll do hands up. So if anyone wants to raise their hand and share something that's been an aha moment for you or something that you've already taken action on, I would love to cheer you on and hear about it. Ooh, Wisconsin in the house. Good morning. Hello. All right, anyone brave want to put their hand up and get called on right away this morning? Last day, best day, by the way. It's always the serious people that show up on day 3. So I love that. I love that you guys are here. Anyone brave enough to get called on yet? Am I going to have to start calling on people? Oh,
no. Someone raised their hand.
Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. Kay, I see you.
It was a Google Analytics for me. I thought I had that all set up, ready to go, and it wasn't. So thanks for that, Jeff. So hopefully today I'm like, why aren't I getting any information back? Well, now I know why, because it wasn't set up. So
well, just that's only happened to me 500 times. So like I thought I had it all set up and went back and realized that it wasn't. So good for you.
Yeah, there's still a lot to do. I'm still overwhelmed. I'm all excited. And it's like, okay, now it's a squirrel of like what to do first. So just to focus and write a to-do list and top priority. So that's where I'm at and still run the store. But
awesome.
Yeah. Love that. Where are you at, North Dakota?
Grand Forks.
Oh, perfect.
I'm from yep. So Scott Martin, Scott Martin from, he's married to my ex-sister-in-law, but yeah. So I've been to Bowman to rodeo. My daughter's high school rodeoed as well.
You guys, this is the thing about North Dakota. Either we know the same people, we had college roommates in common, or we're related.
Yep.
Like that's it. Everyone's connected. It's not even 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's like 1. That's it. So good. Well, thanks for being here, Kay.
So thank you guys.
All right, Tori, I see your hand up. By the way, Tori, before you start speaking, if you are struggling with Google Analytics, I just want to mention this. I saw a lot of questions yesterday and then a whole bunch of questions in our groups. I made a thread this morning for members of the Boutique Hub. I pinned it to the top of the members only group, and I put in the 2 videos from Jeff, video of how to do G4, GA4, and then how to do it if you've never installed Google Analytics from the start. There's 2 videos. If you have questions, that's the one spot Jeff has the ability to go and answer a bunch of questions on a thread. Otherwise, you guys, his email inbox is bonkers. So I would suggest you go there if you don't get it answered on the call today. And then we will email out those 2 videos as well. So we'll try to make that easy. It's in the members only group for members of the Hub. That's where it's at. All right.
Just one other thing on that, Ashley. So like inside of Retail Bootcamp this semester, like with all the changes on Google, that's going to be one of the big focuses. So if you're not in there yet and you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you do, because there's just so much opportunity on Google this quarter.
Yeah, the whole perspectives thing. I know you're working on that as well. There'll be a lot of talk and opportunity there. Okay, Tori, now over to you. What's your takeaway? What's your action?
That's okay. That was actually one of my questions that I had yesterday that somebody answered for me in the chat, was about the Google Analytics, because I had asked Jeff about it on day 1, and then I looked into it and I thought I connected everything, and yeah, no, it's still not working. So there's something that I'm missing. I really just can't nerd out in that area like he can. I admire his talent because no, it just doesn't work that way for me. Okay,
I do that and mop floors really well. Those are the only 2 things.
Feel free to give me a shout anytime. Okay, so yesterday, one thing that I really took away, and one of the main things I've taken away, was from Sarah, when she was talking about the markdowns. That is something I've really had a hard time with, because letting go of that profit, I'm like, no, I don't want to mark it down. I want to make the money on it. That's why I bought it. And I have a hard time. I like to say I hoard my inventory. Like I try to just keep it all and not get rid of it until I sell it full price. So her kind of giving just not, a complete strategy of how to just mark it down. It's not one size fits all, but just kind of like a track to go off of, I think is really going to help me as I move forward this year and learning how long to keep inventory. And I actually looked into aging inventory reports, which slapped me on the wrist again. I did not know what that was. So yeah, but I did have one question for you about the retail boot camp. Whenever I signed up, it shows you the option for the one-on-one coaching. What all does that like entail? Is that more for people that are more scaled in their business? They're way ahead in sales, because I'm still newer and I'm in a small town, so I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you I'm a $30,000 a month boutique, because I'm not yet.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely for anyone and everyone. So VIP is very limited. We only let 20 stores into that. And I don't know where we're at with numbers so far today, Jeff. But it's one-on-one with Sarah. Sarah can talk about anything in one-on-ones, but a lot of times you guys talk numbers, inventory, really dig into things. There's a one-on-one with me. I do a lot of e-commerce auditing, social media auditing, talking about team, overall growth strategy, vendors, brands, all the things. Jeff, I believe, also does an audit with all those 20 stores as well. And then there's 4 small group coaching sessions. So Sarah, Jeff, and I, and then Shannon Gordon, if you haven't met her yet, she's a social media guru. She comes in as well, and you do training sessions and live Q&A with all of us in those small, like little Zoom rooms. And they're about 2 hours. Everyone has an opportunity to speak and have their questions answered. And we just try to get a little bit more in depth. But again, it doesn't matter what size you are. We just try to really hone in on where you're at and what you need.
Okay. Because a lot of the things that I was looking at, especially in retail boot camp, I'm really excited for the future, to have employees, but I'm still a one-woman shop.
Yeah.
I mean, I have good old grandma. I think y'all met her at market. She comes and she's at my store with me every day. She took a picture with y'all sign it in your showroom that said boutique bestie, because that's what she is. Everybody knows her. So I was just kind of thinking about doing the one-on-one, but I wasn't sure if it was a fit since I still am smaller and in that growing stage. So maybe it's something I should take advantage of like the next time y'all open it up and get through retail boot camp first. But I'll see. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer my questions.
Yeah, you are so welcome. Yeah,
And
that's
just FYI, there's 10 of those spots left for this next
okay.
semester.
Thank you.
And
awesome.
Tori, I appreciate you bringing up the markdown strategy, because I answered a lot of questions to people yesterday afternoon after the Best Year Yet call. And when I was talking to one of them, I know the question is, what is the strategy? I got to thinking yesterday, it's not necessarily, it's more of a mindset around that inventory that is depreciating on your rack, right? It's aging out. And so it's definitely more of that mindset, how you look at those products and the opportunity that you have there. So you're not alone in that. The markdowns, it's easy to get emotionally attached to our inventory for sure.
Can you talk, Sarah, for a minute? One of my favorite analogies that you do, and I know this comes from Management One, but brown bananas. Can you just paint the picture of brown bananas for everybody?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a big Management One fan, worked with Management One when I had my store, and they really helped me look at my inventory different. And what we say is that when your inventory arrives in your store, it's a box of bananas, right? And the bananas are green. And as soon as you rip that tape off the box, those bananas start changing color. And the longer they're there, the browner they get. And if you start looking at that inventory like it is aging out and you have got to use it very fast, right? Or else it's not viable anymore. So it's the brown bananas analogy. Like what color is my inventory right now? Literally in the aging process of it. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today, but it's that mindset shift. Stop looking at your products like this super, super cute little floral dress that you just knew somebody was going to love, and start looking at it like your cash. That's your $20 bill hanging there. That's literally a banana that was green yesterday and it's yellow today. And all of a sudden you're starting to see those spots come on it and you're like, ugh, gross. I don't want it. I need to do something with it right away.
Yeah, so good. So helpful to look at our inventory like that, because you don't make more money the browner it gets.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. So awesome. Okay, we've got time for a couple more takeaways. Real quick, I see a lot of people that are already in retail bootcamp that have been in the past. They're saying, how do I re-enroll? I just want to remind you, you have lifetime access. So you never have to re-enroll. You have access to Kajabi. We granted, Jeff, can you help me with this? We granted access to a second Kajabi product, I think yesterday or the day before. So there'll be 2 of them in your course library. Make sure you're looking at the one that doesn't say 2023, since this is 2024. And then you're already in the Facebook group if you've done it in the past. So like Tori mentioned, you can do Retail Bootcamp this time. You can do VIP anytime. So that's good for past or present students as well.
Yeah. Yep. So we just have a bunch of new features coming out this semester. And so if you had the old one, we put a new one in there so that we could bring all of those features to the front and center. So pay attention to the year. 2024 is the year for you.
Oh, okay. And then I just saw this question come through the workbook. So you can print this off yourself on your printer, but I'm telling you, this is double-sided. It's really thick. So we just did our local printer had them do the binding for us. You can order these. And the link is in your product as well. And it's at the top of the Facebook group if you need that. All right, Gina, I see you in Minnesota. Let's hear your takeaway. I love your glasses.
Thank you. First and foremost, I'm so grateful for the 3 of you. You bring a wealth of knowledge that I have pages and pages of notes. I love figuring out yesterday our AOV, doing surveys, and the Meta Suite, Facebook Plus. Like, there's so many different things. And if we just do 2 or 3 of these, it's going to make a huge impact for 2024. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. We've said this like every day that we've been here, but this is our favorite thing to do. Like, we get so energized when we get to be like in the same space with you guys. It's kind of like the boutique summit for us when we're all like, we've got all this energy going in the same direction. We're all very lucky to get to be in these seats and to get to serve you guys like this. So thanks for calling that out. It means a lot. Joan, I see you. Do you have a takeaway?
Yes, thank you everybody for all the information. I did sign up for Retail Bootcamp yesterday. So yay. I do have a question. Can you add the VIP part like maybe next semester?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
you can. Okay, perfect. The other takeaways that I have, and Jeff and I have talked about this before, is videos. I've not done a lot of videos, but as you can see, I don't look like a totally homeless troll today. So I will be, I've got videos scheduled to do today. So
Yes, good.
All right, Joan, go get them.
that's what I'm doing. And I'll see you guys in Dallas in a week and a half or so.
I don't know if everybody's picked up on the short format video craze, but you may have noticed Instagram changed their rules, TikTok changed their rules to make it slightly longer than a minute. And the sub 4-minute short format videos are selling better than anything else. So if you're not doing it, listen to Joan. Joan, like, I've had to push her towards the video slowly, but we're getting there.
Yes.
We're getting there. So
I did 2 TV spots over the holidays, promoting the store, and everybody said I did great. I didn't look like a total retard up there. So yay me. So we're gonna go for the videos here in the store. So
one thing about Joan buys a bunch of cool cars. So like, we have plenty to talk about.
yeah, we talk cars, don't we? And the Chiefs.
I love it. So good. Thanks, Joan.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. All right, Taylor, I'm going to call on you. I've seen you show up like first every single day. So you get the gold star today.
Thank you. My biggest takeaway was the 30% return rate for TikTok Shop, because that's something that I've been kicking around so much, but something in my gut has just held me back. Like, I haven't quite been there. I do have a TikTok, I do videos and stuff, but the TikTok Shop part of it has kind of been, I just haven't been like completely sold on it. And I know there's people who do really well, but the 30% return rate, and then your comment about it coming back smelling like kitty litter kind of made me like, I kind of like ruminated on that. And I was like, what does that say about the, like the customer base versus Instagram or direct visits to the website? What does that say? So I kind of wanted to dive deeper on that aspect, because I don't know, that just kind of sat with me a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that was my biggest takeaway. And it's not that I'll never do it, but maybe I just noticed it's already so discounted when people are selling it. So I'm already like, okay, what's the ROI on anything if it's so discounted? And then if you're getting 30% return, rates on it, it's just like, I don't know, it kind of confirmed my instinct, but I don't know. That was my biggest takeaway so far.
Sometimes I think we just need that little like, oh, yeah, kick in the gut. I've been thinking about that. You know what's ironic, Taylor, is just yesterday, our Facebook groups at the hub started to blow up because the people who are on TikTok shops, and probably many of you here got this, got notice that their rates were increasing. I want to say it's going to 8%. Sarah, is that right? I have a lot of theories about that, probably not ones I should share here. But I don't feel good about where it's going. And I feel like that rate increase was very intentional to be very detrimental to small businesses on TikTok. I'll just leave it at that. So
Yeah, it is going to,
signs if you can, but be
yeah,
careful.
you're right, Ashley. It is going to 8%. And, you know, I think we all learned some really, really good lessons, valuable lessons, and as kindergartners that we can carry on in our life. And one of those is if it, you know, sounds too good to be true, it might be just too good to be true. And I feel like TikTok has done a really good job of luring small businesses in on a platform that sounds like the miracle platform. And, you know, some things are really coming to light. So just, you guys, be responsible, do some homework, talk. This is what I love about the Boutique Hub community for sure. You know, there's a lot of great conversations happening. So, and that's what we're here to do also, is bring you that information first and foremost. So keep an ear to the ground for that, because we have a lot more information coming on that soon.
Love it. All right. We better get started today, you guys. If you did,
Sorry, Ashley, I have one thing. I just want to clarify for all of you guys that have joined Retail Bootcamp in the past, year 2023 and earlier. When you log into your Kajabi, you will click on the course that says 2023. It redirects you to 2024. That there's right now, it does not say 2024 on that thumbnail for you guys that have purchased in the past. So when you click on it, it takes you to 2024. There's a glitch right now that'll be fixed soon. So I don't want everybody to panic to go in there and be like, oh no, all I have is the old stuff. When you open it up, it has the new calendar. It has all the new information in it. So
yep.
Just let everybody know.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yep.
Okay. More questions at the end. If you didn't get called on, sorry, let's dive into it. We've got lots of really good stuff to talk about today that I can't wait to dive into. Today's giveaway, Hadley's Sephora haul. If we're friends on Instagram, I did a little preview of what's in this bag for you this morning, but I'm just going to go hog. We've got some Amika dry shampoo sets. We have some Charlotte Tilbury sets. I got this for Christmas from Jade, the same exact thing, and I love it. So I got it for you guys, but it's the Laneige lip mask. Jeff, do you use that? I mean, it sounds like it's probably something you would love.
Just at night. Just at night.
Just at night. Okay, good. Also, I've got a couple of Starbucks gift cards in today's set, and then a whole bunch of Boutique Boss stickers, like a whole bunch of them. So the tag is the Boutique Hub and AJ Alderson on Instagram. And Eric and I ourselves will ship these out to you guys tomorrow. So that's today's giveaway. All right, Sarah, I'm going to share my screen. Let's start talking about this today as we get started. All right. All right, go ahead, Sarah. You launch it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, so we were working through these things yesterday, and the idea is those projects and the top row 1 through 4 at the top, those are the things that you really want to take action on. And then as you see the 1 through 5, it's a scale. Basically what that is saying is like, what type of impact is that having in your business, and what is that return looking like as far as highest, minimal impact? What type of return and impact does, say, building your email automation list going to have on your business? Kind of cost impact, time impact, all of those things. So this is just something everybody is going to have a little bit different answers here. There is no real right or wrong. It just is really going to help you understand, like, what am I getting my biggest bang for my buck for? And where do I really want to focus right now? And a couple of you guys have already said it. You know, time is precious, and one bite at a time, right? We can only take on so many things, but we need a priority for those things. So everybody should have that. It was emailed to you, as you can download that, work through that. And, you know, I would encourage you to continue to build out something like this. throughout your year, right? It's just auditing yourself and what you're spending your time doing.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.
All right. So as a reminder, day one, let's look at the sales funnel, the things we've covered so far, the 3 tried and true ways to grow a retail business. Day one was all about how do we get new customers to our funnel, attract customers. Probably the most expensive way, most time consuming way, but it's a big part of what we do, right? Then we get into the more cost effective, smarter ways to grow our business. And that's, how do we get our customers to order more? Yesterday was all about average order value and units per transaction. Critical things, those of you who have a team and you really want to incentivize them, go on those numbers. Don't feel like you have to share sales numbers if you don't feel comfortable. Although we can talk a mile about open book management and how effective that is. That's a really good way to start is with those 2 numbers. Today, it's all about frequency. So how do we get customers who are already our existing customers? How do we get them back in to buy more often, right? We've already done the work. We've already got them in the top of the funnel. We've already got them to make bigger purchases with us. But now how do we get them back again and again and again instead of voting with their dollars somewhere else? So let's start here. There's 5 questions today, 5 questions for you guys to take notes on. And this is the first one, is how to dig into what is your return customer rate. Jeff, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So in Shopify, if you're a Shopify user, Shopify tracks this for you in a really great way. All you have to do is go to your Shopify admin portal, go to the left-hand side of the screen. In that top group of items, there's analytics. Click on analytics. And then when you go to that, inside the reports, you can select this window, the returning customer rate. And so each and every day, like we should check this and just see, are we growing our returning customer percentage? Like, are we beating the day before? Are we beating the week before? Are we beating the month before? And so when you check in on your business and you think, how healthy is my business? Your returning customer rate is an awesome KPI for that. And so it's a core metric. And the reason it's so important is because a returning customer, somebody that comes back to your website, somebody that comes back in your store for a second time, is 8 times more likely to buy. And so there's all sorts of ways to do that. You can do ads, and you can do mailers, and you can do emails, and you can do texts, and you can do sales, and you can do all sorts of stuff. But this is a core, in my opinion, this is a core fundamental percentage that every boutique owner should say, is my returning customer rate going up? And just each week, just check in on it, and then start celebrating it when you win. We don't have a hard time celebrating here at the Boutique Hub. And so I would just tell you, find out a way to celebrate winning on your returning customer rate going up. Now, I realize that not everybody uses Shopify. And so in Google Analytics also tracks this. And so, Sarah, will you go to the next slide? And so in Google Analytics, if you go into your GA4 account, you just log in, it'll bring you to the home screen. And then on the very left-hand side, there's a little bar graph icon that it's like a vertical bar graph icon. You click on that reports, and then in the reports that it brings up, it's the 6th or 7th box on the bottom. It's top events window. And this report here will track how many total page views you had and how many of those were first-time visitors. And so you can see that line graph and that trend as well. Is that trend moving up? Am I attracting first-time visitors to my website month over month over month over month? And here again, so if you're not a Shopify user, you can just do it in GA4. If you're a Boutique Hub Black member, this is tracked for you. If you're in Retail Bootcamp, we go over the fundamentals of how to set up these traffic pathways from the get-go. And so anyway.
It's also on the comment sold dashboard as well. So if you don't use Shopify, if you're on comment sold, they track it on their dashboard too.
Yep. But other than Shopify, like Square and some of those, it's tougher to find. GA4 is a little bit easier to use.
I just want to add, we talked a little bit yesterday about customer lifetime value, and when that customer comes in and when they walk out and they have not purchased something, what that really means when you start looking at what value I specifically as your shopper bring to the table. So if you're not focused on, am I returning to to your store and you start focusing on just finding all these new people all the time, it is a real problem. And it really depends on your business. Some people's return rates are going to be as low as 20%. I love the 60%, right? It really does depend on your business, but this is a great training moment for you, for your staff, for the culture of your business to say, hey, why do people date us once and then never come back? Like, what are we doing? Are we giving away too much? Or like, are we just not putting ourselves out there? Are we not relatable? Do we overpromise and underdeliver? Are we doing that? Like, what is the reason that these relationships aren't growing? Right? We've all had those relationships where we meet somebody one time, we're like, okay, that was great. We're never going back there again. And if you start looking at your business, kind of like that mindset of the markdowns we were talking about, the mindset about how you're viewed from your customers and why they're not coming back, man, solve that problem and you have a lot easier business to run.
Yeah. Yeah. And just one other note on that is, just because these are digital metrics, just because these are monitoring website return customers, don't think that doesn't apply to brick and mortar. Because a ton of your brick and mortar people will type in your website directly and say, what does Taylor have new this month? Like, what is her new collection? Oh man, that looks awesome. I'm going in. Like, so don't think that if you just have a brick and mortar that you shouldn't monitor return website visitors, because those are your brick and mortar customers too. And they check your website first and then they jump in your store.
Perfect. I know Sarah answered this question, but I'm seeing it in the hub group and in this chat, just to everyone on the same page asking for what is the ideal rate. There is not one ideal rate, because like Sarah said, are you a comment sold user? That's probably one way to look at it. Are you brick and mortar? That's another way to look at it. Are you running ads? The more you run ads, the more you drive cold traffic and fill the top of your funnel, the more this rate is going to decrease, right? Just like your online conversion rate. So these are numbers that are going to fluctuate. It matters that you start tracking for you and you benchmark for you rather than some arbitrary number that's not really an industry standard, in my opinion.
That's right. That's right. The right number is 1% more than last month.
Absolutely.
So good. All right. Question number 2 today is, who's on your email list and how is it segmented? So going back to increasing customer frequency, I'm just curious, can you guys please drop this in the chat? How many of you are actively utilizing your email list, growing an email list? We've had a lot of conversations about email here lately, but the truth is this, I said this yesterday, whether we're on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, we're kind of living on borrowed time. Those are all other people's platforms. They're not our platforms. And as we've seen again and again and again, we can get locked out tomorrow. Our email list is the thing that we're not going to get locked out of. It's the thing that we can build and that we have access to and we own, and we can repurpose it and use it in multiple ways, including running ads. So actually, like, actively growing this list is really critical to the growth of our business. It becomes an asset for our business someday as well when we go to sell our business. That's ultimately your goal. So I want to talk first about just growing your list and a couple of ways that you can grow your list. If you have additional tips on this, ways that have really worked for you to grow your list, again, please drop them in the chat. Everyone would love to learn from one another today. But some things that I think are really important. On day 1, we talked about running that survey to your audience. And those of you who have joined Retail Bootcamp, we will do this together. So hold off, wait for us. In week 1, we're going to do this together. I'm going to go into depth on how we do this. But that's a really great way. If you have an active audience that maybe you feel like you don't have all their emails, that's the first question we ask in the survey. It's required. So it's a great way to really grow that list from the start. Of course, we have to have permissions anytime we ask to grow our email list. So huge asterisk, there's a lot of laws around email marketing that we have to be aware of. That goes without saying. So survey is a great way. Asking, how many of you guys have posted a link to your opt-in page for your email list on your social media anywhere in the last 2 weeks and said, hey, do you want to join my email list? And of course, you got to give them a reason why, right? There's got to be FOMO. What's in it for me? People are a little protective over this. Oh, I see 2 yeses so far, but lots and lots of no's. 3 yeses, 4. Oh, nice work, you guys. More than I thought. Okay, but still lots of no's. So the point is, when you're making your content strategy, your content plan, we use spreadsheets to plan out everything. this should be something we have like an idea list, right? Like a bank of what are the things that we have to remember to ask or talk about every week or every 2 weeks or every month. Asking people to get on our email list is constant. Actually, like for the Boutique Hub, how we measure our North Star in our company, like what's our ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal is to change people's lives by changing their businesses. What's the way that we measure it? We measure it by email addresses. It's the only way to know, hey, we had some kind of touch point with this person. Therefore, hopefully they consume some content that made their life better. So it's our everything at the Hub. And if you have a similar goal, it might be everything for you too to grow that list. So again, back to, you can run opt-ins, you can give free downloads, all kinds of things to create that FOMO and that sense of urgency to want to be on that list. You can run monthly giveaways as well. And then of course, I'm sure most of you have some sort of pop-up or something on the homepage of your website, maybe a call to action in the footer of your site, getting people onto your email list there too. All right, second thing I want to talk about is just segmenting that list. I want to know in the comments, how many of you guys, how many different, I'm just gonna say a ballpark of tags or segments that you've set up on your email lists? Who's gotten really in depth on setting up tags and segments? Oh my gosh, I see ranges of 0 to 2 to over 100. This is so good. Okay, so you guys know there's opportunity here. Just to get your wheels turning, when you think about how we email market, when you target everyone, you reach no one. A general rule of marketing, when you target everyone, you reach no one. So if you're blasting your whole email list with the exact same message, right? There's probably a lot of people that are like tuned out because they're like, that's not for me. So our job is to market to everyone as if they have a sign around their neck that says, make me feel important, make me feel special. One of my dear friends who is an absolute expert email marketer, Jane Casper, she owns Glow Group. She's a service provider at the Hub and mastermind member at the Hub. She has a really successful business that runs shoes. Her retail business has been a huge shoe business. And so she talks a lot about the power of in the shoe business. If I'm going to send out this really cute boot that I have for sale, but I only have it in, size 6, 7, and I'm blasting it, and all my ladies who are a size 9 or 10 are getting it and they're clicking on it and they're wasting their time, they're probably not going to click on the next email I send. They're ticked, right? Because they want that cute boot and I don't have an opportunity to sell it to them. So the more we can segment down by location, so who's local to me, who's not local to me, we can segment down by brand affinity. This person really loves Free People. This person really loves Judy Blue. We can do that. We can do that by purchase history. We can also segment down by sizes. So if you are marketing shoes, that's a really good example. We can get into engaged, not engaged, purchase history, all kinds of things that again can make people feel really important and special on the list. All right, third thing I want to just mention quickly on this today is really get into what are your flows and your automations that you're marketing to. These are things like, to me, this is a no-brainer when it comes to moving out of being a hustling, busy entrepreneur to being a CEO that wants to make money while they sleep. Anything you can automate that's going to make you money while you sleep should be top of the priority list. It's like a 5 on the RAM that we talked about. Like it's got to be top of our to-do list. So setting up these automations, whether it's abandoned browse, abandoned cart, welcome to your first time subscriber, thank you for your first purchase, our get back automation. So anyone who's gone cold in 60, 90, 120 days, asking them to come back in. Those are all in any email like Klaviyo that you use or Shopify's email that you use. Those are all set up for you. There's templates in every single email provider that you're using. You can use that template, or again, there's great service providers who can set those up for you, but it's worth taking the time to do it because it's something that can, again, make you money while you sleep. So huge opportunity to get people, especially those VIP customers who have already proven they want to shop with you. But we have to keep top of mind and keep reminding them of what you have new and creating that FOMO to get them back in the door to purchase again. All right. Question number 3.
Yeah. All right. So we talked a little bit about this yesterday. You'll see that everything that we're talking about really like translates day after day. But to really hit this a little harder, again, how are we going to get our customers coming back again? Return customers, increasing those. Well, how fresh are your products? We talked about the importance of keeping those bananas, you know, a healthy looking color, right? Not having a bunch of brown bananas hanging on your rack, sitting on your website, sitting on your shelves. So the importance of freshness in your inventory is extremely important. Well, how do you do that? You, first of all, really start to pay attention to your delivery dates. When you go to market, when you go onto Hubintory and you start placing orders, be mindful of when they are set to ship. Ask the tough questions of the vendors. Don't just allow them to ship it to you whenever they want, right? Because that ties up your cash. It takes up space in your store, on your warehouse, on your website. And you have to be able to have a rotation of fresh inventory consistently. So that is really important. Again, we go through this process of investing in inventory way deeper in Retail Bootcamp. So stay with me. I know there's going to be questions about it, but I just want you to, right now, as you're thinking about it, think about the last time you went online and placed an order, or you went to market and placed an order, and you just placed the order, got the purchase order, and left. But you don't know exactly when it's coming in, what is going to go with, how you're going to rotate it into your current inventory and quickly sell it, right? So then that goes back with the next thing is we have to make that old stuff new again. And we talked yesterday about rephotographing it, fit videos. We have to go live with it again. We have to re-merchandise it and re-merchandise it in your store as well as on your website. Did it ever hit the front page of your website? Did it ever make it to the front window of your store? If it is sitting there, and you need to turn it quick, you know, to get the cash back out of it because you need to get fresh inventory in again, we have to make that new again. And it's really kind of fun. We do something inside Retail Bootcamp where we do a resetting. Basically, I call it resetting your store, resetting your website, resetting your store floor challenge. And every day after we do this, we have store owners message or come in and go live and just say, oh my gosh, I had a customer that shopped with us 15 times, come in and be like, when did you get this in? This is really fun. I love it. I've never seen this before. And come to find out that product may have been 8 months old. So making those old things new again is very important in this, keeping your inventory fresh, but also keeping those returning customers engaged. Then the importance of that markdown strategy. We talked about that yesterday. Again, that's that mindset. That is that not falling in love and not being emotionally attached to how cute you think something is, but to recognize when it is starting to age out, recognize when it is becoming less of a demand to your customer, and getting whatever cash you can out of that product before it becomes zero value. So implementing some sort of a walk around your warehouse, walk through your store floors, talk with your sales staff, look at your aging inventory reports. And for those of you guys that don't have access to aging inventory reports, inside Retail Bootcamp, we teach you how to manage those things as well, because some systems are a little bit different. Some platforms give you more reports than others, but it is really important to know the age of your inventory. I also look at it like, I talk about your inventory like food a lot, and you guys all are inventory planners. You have been ever since you started going grocery shopping. You just don't think of it that way. But when you go to the grocery store, you walk through the produce section and you might see asparagus, or you might see, I don't know, some bananas, we'll just use that. And in your mind, you think, will I use this soon? If I am, I will buy it. If I'm not, I might say, I'll come back next week and get it because I don't plan to use that asparagus, or I don't plan to use the cilantro right now. And I don't want it to go gross in my refrigerator, right? So you make a mental note, I'll come back and get it. Well, a lot of times when we go to market, we're like, oh, cute, so fun. I love it. I'm going to get it, but you don't have a purpose for it right now. So I can geek out and talk about analogies about inventory and food connections and things like that, and how you yourself are a better buyer than you're giving yourself credit for. But we go into that a whole lot more inside Retail Bootcamp and things too. But as you're thinking about this freshness, start thinking about that, your inventory that way. The next thing, less is more. We talked about that. That was my analogy about Christmas morning and just bombarding your customer with too much, too soon, too fast, just all at one time, where they cannot make a sound decision. They get the overwhelm and they feel like they're going to screw it up. And 9 chances out of 10, they're like, never mind. I'll take the little gold necklace and walk away. Like I'm comfortable with that. So less is more. But then FIFO, the first in, first out inventory markdown and management system. If you do nothing else, talk to your team, implement a plan where you notice and you recognize this came in before this product, so I have to get it out. This is a warehouse management system. You've probably heard of this. It's kind of just common sense, but looking at something with that mindset, first in, first out. First in, it came in August. I need to push that before I push the things that happen in September. And then the last thing here is audit, audit, audit. It is so important to take time to walk around, to look at these reports, to set times, I call it your date with your numbers, and audit these things and pay attention to the longevity, the life of your product, right? But also just pay attention to the quantities you have on hand. Pay attention to what that story behind that rounder rack of stuff is telling you. There's a whole story that is telling you, whether it's the wrong vendor, the vendor doesn't want to work with you correctly, the wrong price, the wrong fit, the wrong feel, the wrong function. I talked about the 3 F's yesterday, all of those things. But how fresh are your products, and this whole idea of keeping your customers engaged and getting your return customers coming back more often really goes back to how disciplined you are in managing that inventory. Because your customers will notice. They will notice things that have sat in the same spot forever, right? And they'll tend to think you don't have anything fresh. Every time I go in there, it looks the same. Every time I go onto her website, I see the exact same hero image, the exact same cover photo on her Facebook group. Every time I go there, it's the same. So why am I going to just take that 1 extra ounce of effort and scroll with my thumb in hopes there's something new there? She's not showing me anything new in the front window. So be aggressive. Pay attention to the time that you put into these things, because it directly affects the time that a customer is going to spend with you.
So amen to all of it. I love this conversation. That's one of my
I do.
favorites. Because it's overlooked, and it's going to tie it into the very next conversation we're going to have about creating FOMO, because I think that retailers were like, can you just raise your hand if you feel like you are a chronic shopper? Like you're just a chronic shopper. You just love to shop. You just love to buy. Like you love buying inventory for your store. And we get so obsessed with what's new, that we forget about what's already been there. And Sarah, you're right. When we go through a retail boot camp, that's always been our feedback from the program is we ask like, okay, what's the module or what's the lesson that you learned that you think you like made the most money from? And it always goes back to remerchandising, and it's your website and it's your storefront, and it's making all the things that are old look new again. Just so much opportunity there. Sarah, can you, before I go into this slide, one more thing I would love it if you would just hit on really quick. I know our friend Alexia was here yesterday, and something that she mentioned in our last mastermind that I really loved and it stuck with me is she talked about all these great name brands that she carried in her store. And it was, so exciting to have these name brands attract people into the store, so on and so forth. But when she looked at her aging and when she looked at her markdowns and what was selling, she was noticing that these name brands were only selling once she actually discounted them. And it wasn't worth it to have some of those brands in store. So can you hit on that for a quick sec?
Yeah, for sure. It's all about auditing your numbers, and is the investment of time and cost, all of those things that I'm putting in there, am I getting anything back? So you also have to look at it. It's like, okay, so when I do throw those big names up on my website or for backlink traffic and all those kind of things, does that affect and help the traffic that I get into my store? So if that does, that can offset the fact that you only put those things at a discount. But at the end of the day, if you just are very nonchalant about it and just keep reordering, you can put yourself in a real financial cash bind, because those things tend to come with a higher cost investment wise. And therefore your margin somewhere has got to make up for that. So you can call them loss leaders, you can call them attractors, you can call them a lot of different things, but it is so important, and it can be very eye-opening to look and say, is it worth it for me to invest in these products? Is it worth it for me to, in your store space? I always teach and coach to every square foot in your retail brick and mortar or on your website is rented space. And am I getting back enough money for me to put that type of product there, taking up an opportunity from something else? So if you don't notice these things, if you don't look at them and you just keep going through at the end of the year and you say, gosh, why didn't I make any money? I sold a lot of products. But again, that goes back to the Boutique Boss Planner that we talked about yesterday and analyzing those things. I did this much sales, this many dollars in sales with this many dollars in inventory. Take that step further, look at those investments of some of those higher end products and look at your return on that investment as well. So yeah, it can be, I mean, I think it's really exciting to see what story those numbers tell you, but it's just getting disciplined enough to set a time to go through and do those things. And also, I'll tell you one thing that I love when I talk to some store owners, they have somebody on their staff that is a numbers kind of person. They love that. They handle that. And I'm a big one. I teach about this in Retail Bootcamp all the time about open book management and getting your team more involved. But that is a thing that you can delegate and hand over and just and give them that ability and that opportunity to come back to you and say, hey, these are our go-to lines. These are our amazing vendors. This is our best return on investment, all of these kind of things, and watch them feel like pride in that finding. Also saying we kind of should cut back on our losses here. We should, instead of focusing over here, this is where we need to really put our dollars. So this is one of those things I love delegating in your business because it really helps the overall health of your business. This is one thing I would highly encourage you. If this is not exciting to you, find somebody that it is exciting for, because I really do think it's non-negotiable.
Contrary to popular belief, your best vendor isn't rated on who serves the best margaritas at market. There's far more than that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh my gosh. All right. Question number 4. Are you creating FOMO with your drops and with your launches? Jeff, I know you could probably jump in and help me with this one because I know you've seen some boutiques do this really well. But when I think about planning out all of our content strategy, again, we're squirrels. We want to just continue to go back to what's new. But in that strategy, yes, it's what's new and what's coming and we can create teasers of, but it's also like really creating FOMO about what you just re-energized as well. What was aged, but you reshot it, reposted
Schedule,
it,
please.
made it look brand new, launched
you say
collection, all those things. So when I think about creating more FOMO, the first is teasers behind the scenes at market. I know most of you probably do this. Can you tell me in the chat, like when you go to market, are you creating teasers and FOMO and excitement about all the things you're buying? I'd love to see if you're
also like how wide you're, like for you wide buyers out there, for you guys that go out and buy single packs, like use that to your advantage. Like when you go to market and you're teasing a new product that you're buying at market, let the people know this product's exclusive. We're bringing in one pack and create that FOMO from the very beginning. Let them know that the quantity is limited, and then that way they're ready to buy the second it hits the shelf.
So good. The whole strategy around what things do we go wide, what things do we go deep. But I love that. That would create FOMO on really outlining what those things are. I think trend reports are another great way to create FOMO. So we talked about this yesterday about doing trend reports. We've got a bunch of trend reports we do at the Hub. We have another one that's just launching soon. We'll have the boards on Hubventory that we shared that are all trend report specific. But I think your ability to take, whether it's home and gift trends, it's something that popular bloggers are using, it's something that you've sourced at market. It's the vignettes you saw Magic create at market that are always beautiful about whatever upcoming trends are. And you've taken that and helped your customers understand, how do I use this trend? And create FOMO on the trend that you're about to launch in a collection a week later. Those of you who are doing photo shoots, I think behind the scenes at all the photo shoots, those are always huge FOMO moments. How can I get in on what's about to come? You're going to be the first to know. Those of you who have your UPS guy, I know you dropped his name in the chat 2 days ago, but when Dan shows up with a box, there is FOMO associated with what's in the box. Fear of missing out, FOMO. So how are we doing all those behind the scenes? This is branded content. So again, we talked about the recipe, branded content, engaging content, sales content. This is all branded content that is going to build engagement, and it's going to help you launch the sales content as soon as it comes. Lives obviously are great for FOMO, but I want to know how many of you guys are actively still using Facebook events. I feel like Facebook events kind of came and went and came back again. The best part, in my opinion, about utilizing Facebook events is your ability to do tagging of people that you're connected with. So this kind of is going to lead me down a bit of a rabbit hole, so bear with me. I'm a believer that on your personal Facebook page, you should be friends with your customers. Some of you may not like that. I think that there's many ways you can segment on your personal social media who can see what. You can make your close friends list. You've got all kinds of privacy settings. Not everyone has to see all your things, right? But when you are actually friends with your customers, you have a limit of 5,000 on Facebook. When you're friends with them and you are actively using Facebook events, then you can go in and you can invite your friends list. You also will know when you're doing targeting on Facebook events, which of your friends are associated with different Facebook groups that you might be a part of. You can go into different people's Facebook groups that you're in. This is kind of sneaky. And you can invite your entire friends list that's in that group to your Facebook event. All Facebook is doing is it's giving you an opportunity to say, wow, we have these things in common. We have these groups in common and these events in common. And we're also friends. You would probably be a great fit for this new event that I'm going to create over here. And it's giving you a really quick way to invite everyone automatically. So that's a huge marketing opportunity. It's free to do. It's really like successful organic marketing. So utilize those Facebook events, both on your Facebook page and in your Facebook group. So Facebook event is a Facebook event. It is a feature of Facebook for those of you who are asking. You'll find it anywhere on your page and in your group. And Jeff, will you help me with this? So I think about a launch formula that we've seen be successful is, again, going back to this kind of life cycle of the product. So we're teasing being the buyer, we're teasing the new drop that's coming, we're teasing at the photo shoot that's coming. We have a countdown to the new collection we're going to drop. We're going to drop it in the app first, if that's how you roll, and then drop it everywhere else. And then boom, that's your Facebook ad. Can you speak to the life cycle of that funnel a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a huge opportunity to tease or to let your customers in on the wholesale buying process, like give them a behind the scenes look at market, like the trends that you're seeing at market, the things that you've selected just for them, and then to allow them to engage with that behind the scenes opportunity. Like, what do you guys think? This one or this one, brown or black, or whatever the case may be, but let them in on that decision buying process. And you can run ads to that. You can run engagement ads to that get that behind the scenes look out to the world, not just your customer base. But then just like Ashley said, running a countdown sequence to when that drops, making sure that the people that engaged with that initial post, that behind the scenes wholesale buying opportunity, the people that engage with that, making sure that they know that that this collection drops in 3 days, in 2 days, in 1 day. And then when it drops, making sure that they know it's available. And then, from there, if you don't sell out with the launch, it all comes down to staying in front, just like the layer that we're talking about today, staying in front of your customers and just letting them know, oh, it's still available. It's still here. It's still available. Until it does sell out. But yeah, I mean, that is the most successful sequence that we see.
Perfect. Some good questions here in the chat on how early would you create a Facebook event to create FOMO but not let it be forgotten? I love that question. So typically, here's how we do it at the Hub. We're usually a month in advance of whatever it is. Those of you who are doing weekly Facebook Lives, however, I'd say every week you're going to make a new one for the next week. But the bigger the event, I would say the more leeway or the more lead time that you want. So Pink Friday, Black Friday, for us, it's the Boutique Summit, whatever your store anniversary is, those you're going to want several months in advance to create the event. The beautiful part about the Facebook event is that it sends a reminder to all the users who are signed up for it. It's going to show up for them in their notifications. So anytime on Facebook or Instagram, any social media that you can drive a notification and drive a reminder, that's always really great marketing.
Yeah, or if you're a boutique that has a live every single day, like some of you crazy people, like if you have a live every single day, you can promote the week or the month. You can promote the event calendar, right? And promote it as a reoccurring event. So don't be scared to do that either. Promote the month. We're going live every day at 2:00 this month, and promote the month and get people on that list for reminders for the month's event.
Perfect. I see some questions on, This seems like a lot. So if I just overwhelmed you, I apologize. If you're new and you're like, how do I do all this? You don't. And that's the whole purpose of the RAM. I just want to like give you some reassurance. If you're in any way feeling overwhelmed by the list of ideas that we just dropped for you, same with Retail Bootcamp. There's a lot of things. There's people here that are brand new today. There's people here who are multi-million dollar stores today. So we want to make sure we drop something for everyone. If it's too much for you, make a list, come back to it. You've got a lifetime to build your business. You've got all kinds of opportunity to implement these things. Just pick one. Just pick about it.
I want to add to that. And I made a comment. I've seen some really good support in the chat for people that are saying, I'm a one-man show. I can't do all this kind of stuff. So I just want to shout out to the people that are saying, hey, girl, you got this. One day at a time, one step at a time. That is amazing advice. I want you to think about your business like you think about if you've ever built a home, right? And your contractor says, hey, you know, Sarah, do you guys want a 1-bedroom home or do you want a 4-bedroom home? And I'm sitting there thinking, well, I don't need a 4-bedroom home right now, but I know resale value wise, I don't want a 1-bedroom home. Nobody wants nobody's going to buy a 1-bedroom home in 5 or 10 years from now when I'm ready to sell it. So I start thinking about what happens at the end of this, of the end of my time here in this house, right? That I'm building and I'm putting my energy into. I might not decorate it all. I might not get it all finished, but I want the framework and I want my mind to be working towards the end goal and the opportunity for growth. Not putting myself in a position where I confine my opportunities. So I know that seems like a mind-blowing thing to think about, that some of you guys are just getting started. And you're like, is Sarah telling me to start already planning my exit strategy? Yeah. I'm telling you that as you build your business, you want to build something that has value and that's going to be attractive, because at some point you might decide, hey, life happened, something happened. I need to shift. I need to do something different, or whatever it might be. Or somebody just comes in and says, man, you have built an empire here and I want it. You never know what's going to happen, but always be thinking about creating that a future opportunity for you and your business. So that's why we bring all these things up. Not that you have to do all of these things, but when you start making the little decisions, you're going to notice how every one of those little decisions affects the grand picture of your business.
Sarah freaking Burks' analogies, everybody. Can I just get a round of applause for that? I love when you do that. You're so good at like easily connecting things. Totally makes sense.
My husband hates it, just so you know. He's like,
oh, come on, Jacob. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Progress, not perfection. I love it. Keep it up. Keep up the support in the chat, you guys. Wondering where to start? I see a couple of those questions. Use the RAM. That is what this is provided for. Make your list. What provides the biggest return? What has the lowest impact? That's what you start with. That's why you have access to this, to help you sort that out. All right, let's go on. Last question for today. Last question. Jeff, this one's for you. Let's talk about, are you remarketing ads to warm audiences? This is a huge opportunity to get people to come back and to increase your frequency.
Yeah, so a lot of times we hear boutique owners and home and gift store owners kind of wanting to get into Facebook ads for the first time. And like they're wanting to try it out. They're not sure if it's going to work for them. They're a little bit concerned about whether, they're going to be able to develop an audience for an affordable price. And remarketing ads are kind of a great place to start. And so no matter what platform you use, you have a list of buyers. Like you have a list in there of names, emails, and this will make Ashley happy because her and I go back and forth on this sometimes. But anyway, so you have this list of buyers, right? So you know who they are, you know their phone number, you know their name, you know their email address. And so you inside of Facebook and Instagram and Google, any of those platforms, you can load a buyer list. And so if you have buyers, remarketing to them is an unbelievably efficient way to get more sales from that person. And so if you're at the very beginning and you're thinking, okay, I have 414 buyers from 2023, how do I get them back in my store? Like, how do I get them back in my store? How do I get them back on my website? A remarketing ad campaign is a really great way to do that. And so in Facebook Ad Manager, you create the campaign, you load your buyer list, and you tell Facebook, I want the people who have bought from me in the past to see this new collection. And for you wide buyers, people that buy wide, advertising a collection is really smart in this situation because, or advertising a style in this situation is smart because you buy wide, because you're going to run out of stock fast. If all 400 of your buyers from last year show up for that collection, guess what? You're not going to have any stock left, which is great. But that's the strategy. Like, are you remarketing to your warmest possible audience, your previous buyers? Now, there's a whole funnel that goes along with this, and I do want to touch on that. But if you're thinking about starting ads, don't shy away from advertising to your previous buyers first. And it's upside down, right? Like this whole time I've been talking about top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. But if you're just getting started and you're going to do it on your own, the highest return will be realized with your remarketing, with marketing to your previous buyers. Now, understanding like the life, the journey of your customers through your website and through your store is really, really important. And so there's a few steps that we should be monitoring, just to understand how people are interacting with our brand online. And so we want to know how many people visited the page for the first time. That's step number one. Like, how many people came to our page for the first time? The second step is how many people viewed a product. So we want to know how many people landed on our homepage and how many people actually made it to a product. How many shoppers are shopping, right? Are they shopping around? And then how many people added that product to cart? How many add to carts did we have? And then that's step number 3. Step number 4 is how many people began checkout. So like, did people start checkout but didn't finish? Did we have a bunch of people start checkout but didn't finish for a reason? Why would that have been? And then the last step is how many people purchased. That's like the core funnel, right? Like, so we attracted them to our page. Did they make it all the way through our sales funnel? This year in RBC, we're going to break that down. GA4 has a new funnel explorer that you can monitor each one of those steps individually on a day-to-day basis. It tracks everything for you, which is super cool. And so we're going to do that in RBC. But those are the key questions, like how many people came to the page, how many people viewed a product, how many people added that product to cart, how many people began checkout, how many people made it through checkout. And then remarketing, right? So like, the people that will go through that flow the easiest are your previous buyers.
So good. Quick question from somebody in the chat. And I think you and I both could answer this. Oh, chat's going so fast, I'm losing it. But she's saying, I get a ton of clicks to my website on my ads and tons of ads to cart, but nobody checks out or purchases.
Why?
So,
Why?
Well,
do you not accept the payment that they prefer? Is it too expensive? Is shipping too expensive? Does your checkout page take too long to load? Is your checkout page not trustworthy? Is there something on your checkout page that makes them think, "Ooh, boy, I don't know about putting my credit card number in here. This looks a little funny." Like, why? Like, we got to start asking why. There's a million reasons why, and you just like yesterday I said, don't get discouraged between the top of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel, but don't get discouraged between a web page visit and a purchase either. Because you can generate all the traffic in the world, but actually learning how to get that person to purchase reliably and consistently is a whole other learning journey. And we have a million experiments to run between those two things. And so don't get discouraged, stick with it. And then, we do this at the Boutique Up all the time too. Like, it takes us 5,800 tries to figure it out. But then when we do, it's like, oh yeah, this is good. Oh yeah, this is where we need to be. And you can do the same thing. You just don't get discouraged between a page visit and a purchase. Just continue to ask yourself, why is that person not making it past that step? Why are they adding to cart but not purchasing? And then and whether you're right or wrong, just try something different, and eventually you'll figure it out.
I think to the person who asked that question, the positive note is you've got traffic coming. right? You've gone over the first hurdle. And to Jeff's point, like that's all conversion rate optimization things. We talk a ton about that in Retail Bootcamp, by the way. That's a huge piece of it because there's a million reasons why when you start asking those questions. But also just to know, like, if you're someone who's listening today and you're like, man, Facebook ads are just my answer. If I could just have Jeff run my Facebook ads, it would solve all my problems. Anyone feel like that? Right? It doesn't. I mean, no offense, Jeff, you're great at running Facebook ads for the hub, but if we didn't have the right products, if we didn't have the right audience, if there wasn't organic marketing, if there wasn't all these things, Facebook ads alone don't solve your guys' problems. So if you're thinking like, I want to do Boutique Hub Black, let's do Boutique Hub Black, but make sure you've done the things in Retail Bootcamp first, like you've optimized your inventory, you've worked on you being a CEO versus an entrepreneur, you've optimized your team if you have one, or you've thought about getting one, you have a content plan, you've optimized for conversion rate optimization. All those things are so important. And then Facebook ads can just add fuel to all that fire.
Right. Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. You know, we have a bunch of people in Boutique Hub Black, and the most successful Boutique Hub Black students are those that have just completed RBC. They're kind of fresh out, and like, man, they really accelerate well. And like, it's just, it's because they lay the foundation, right? And so like they have this really solid foundation, and then we can really scale on the back end of Retail Bootcamp.
Yeah. All right, you guys, 5 questions today. That was it. That was it. So let's do some question and answers. Let me just look at the time. Okay, we've got time today, more time than we've had the last 2 days to do Q&A, which is exciting. So if you didn't get your question answered, you can put your hand up. I hope that all of what we covered today was super helpful to you. How to increase frequency. Number one takeaway today, please just start tracking it. When we look at what was your return customer rate, like that's your homework. What is your return customer rate? Are you tracking it? How do we start to increase it 1% at a time over yesterday, over last week, over last month? That is absolutely cool.
Yeah, jump in there today, see what it is today, write it down in your planner. If you don't have a planner, by the way, order one. And then write it down in your planner, set your baseline, and then once a week, just jump back in there and see if you're on track or off track.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Last call before we start answering questions. Today's giveaway, if you didn't do that yet, it's the Boutique Hub and AJ Alderson on Instagram. I'll ship those out to you later today. And I'll announce our giveaway winner as we get deeper into question and answers here in just a little bit. All right, let's start. I know we had some questions on what is bootcamp, what is membership. I added this slide in here today. Just again, membership is what we do every single day at the Hub. Membership should pay for itself. That's our goal. With discounts, all the things you use at the Hub, it should, hopefully all of you who are Hub members watching, you can attest to that. You utilize the things like the Vistaprint discount, all the things that pays for itself. Retail Bootcamp is our step-by-step strategy. It's live group coaching. We do it twice a year. It will close on January 19th. Enrollment will close January 19th. And then something I just put on here because we talked about it a lot the last 2 days was our marketing bundle. That's all the pages of content ideas, collection ideas, social media ideas, live sale ideas, all the things every single day. So tons of information in there.
Just to back up one quick second. Ashley, you don't know about this, so prepare yourself. So we did want to give everybody that showed up on day 3 a special bonus for Retail Bootcamp. The $100 off coupon did expire yesterday, but I noticed a ton of people in the chat that still wanted to join and missed out on that coupon. So we did create a coupon code only for the people that are here on this call. And so Beth has it. Beth, if you'll drop that coupon code in the chat, you guys can use that for Retail Bootcamp.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, let's do, I'm gonna try to call in some new faces as well, guys. Let's see here. Willow Branch Boutique. I saw you had your hand up earlier. Let's get you.
Thank you for taking my question. Sorry, my phone camera is not working.
No worries.
So we market ourselves as a multi-generational boutique. We feel as though you ought to be able to shop with your girlfriends as a 20-year-old, but you also maybe ought to be able to shop with your mom who is 50 and your grandma who is 80. Regardless of your age, regardless of your size, regardless of your budget. So we kind of accept and welcome everybody. So we tend to have a wide range of inventory. And my question is, how we're struggling, we're getting the moms into the grandmas. We're really struggling with that younger customer base. And the other part of that is when we do have someone come in, we welcome them, we give them a lay of the land in terms of where things are in the store, and then we kind of back off. We tell them, if you need us, we're here. Yesterday I heard you say about get them into that dressing room and show them what you got, show them what you got. That feels a little pressuring to us. So how do you balance that?
Oh, this is such a good, Sarah, I know you want to jump in on this question, but when you think about like the ideal purchase, I made a big post about this in the hub the other day, so I'm so glad you asked this. So to me, I'll start with this. Kiss of death question is what when people walk in? Anyone know? Anyone know the kiss of death question? The first thing you ask people when they walk in the store? Let's see if anyone has it in the chat. Yes. Can I help you find something today? What are you looking for today? When I get that question, I dart so fast. I'm like, oh, I don't know yet. I'm just looking, thanks. Right? And we run away. So just starting at the first step of the purchase, is just how do I relate to somebody? So when I say I'm getting someone into the dressing room and I'm going to show them what I've got, it's not the first thing I'm asking them to do. There's like a whole process I've got to do before I get there. So I'm relating to somebody, I'm, giving them a compliment, and we're talking about the weather, we're talking about whatever it is. And you can say, hey, here's how our store works in case you haven't been here before. I'm here if you need anything. Perfect. So we've related. Now we're going to start to ask questions as we've related, and we're going to learn more about them as we go, right? As we're building this relationship with them. Once we can start to understand and ask the questions about what their needs are, only then can we start to make suggestions about what they may want to try if they didn't know already, and get them into that dressing room scenario, right? So opportunity to show them all kinds of things before you get there. But Sarah, I don't see Sarah on my screen.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, perfect. Can you talk about the multi-generational aspect of it? Because your store was wonderful at this.
Yeah, so as you were talking, I started to have my flashbacks to issues that we had with that, because we were almost like a department store in a small town where we had to be something for everyone. Started back in the 60s, the store did. And so as times changed, our customers, how they responded to things changed. Our tried and true customers, they knew when they came in, they knew that we would have something for them. Our new customer funnel that we were trying to get, I promise you, when the 20-year-old came in, all she saw was clothes for the older crowd. When the older crowd came in, all she saw was clothes for the younger crowd. So it certainly was a challenge as our, when you're in a business for 60 some years, your customers age out, right? There was kind of the joke we catered from the marry me to bury me customer. And that's a problem, because as you're bringing in the new ones, you have to educate them. You have to communicate with them. You have to merchandise a certain way. Signage is extremely important. Gaining that trust for you as the hero, that you are going to get to know them. You're going to understand what their issues are, what their concerns are, and find the products best for them. That takes some time. But I will say, in your merchandising, try not to mix everything together, because I promise those customers are only going to see what they don't want. That's the nature. Humans do this all the time. We're constantly looking for the negative. We don't know we are, but we're constantly looking and saying, this is not for me. I saw that sparkly bralette. This is not for me. Or I saw that, Alex evening wear gown over there. I wanted to dress for a wedding. That's older. That's not for me. So it's really going to be up to you guys to kind of set collections in stores. We talked about yesterday, do we merchandise by color? Well, you can merchandise by body style and by more customer driven. Who are those customer personas, and what part of the store is she going to shop? Look, Dillard's does this, Nordstrom's does this, right? When you go in and shop those big department stores, they have niches, they have nooks, and they have crannies, and they have all these different things that tell the story for said customer. So personally, I think that is a really good idea. when you're trying to attract as many different audiences as you are. The other thing I want to just say, when you said when a customer comes in, you try to really explain, be careful. That younger generation typically doesn't want to sit there and be talked to about where everything is. Let your signage, let your merchandising do that for you. I always coach my staff to be working while they're talking to a customer, not just walk right up and be like plain face, hey, have you seen this? Did you want sale? Are you looking for sale? Are you looking for shoes? And, like start pointing, have them work on a display, have them rebuttoning, folding jeans, doing something. They're in a conversation, making it very comfortable. They're conversating, but they're not like staring each other in the eye. But with that, that's how you're going to get to feel it out for people. Without like taking them on a tour right away. That seems very time consuming. And I think one of the biggest challenges, I mentioned this in the day one, consumers are super time conscious. They don't want to spend a lot of time. And it is, yeah, less intimidating for sure. Sorry, my voice is going to go.
I appreciate all the feedback. Just a couple things that popped into my head as you were talking, and I was trying to relate it to the store is we are a very small boutique. We're only roughly 600 square feet. And as soon as Ashley said the kiss of death question, I was a little concerned because the way that we greet our customers is we say hello, we thank them for coming in, and we ask them if they're looking for anything in particular today. And then we point out our last chance rack and our sale rack. And then, tell them that the plus size items have a string on top. And if they have any questions, we're there. That's kind of the spiel that everybody gives when they come in. So I guess we're doing it all wrong.
So I just want to tell you, be careful to be the first thing you do is tell somebody where a sale rack is. Just be careful about that. 600 square feet is a big challenge for you for sure. It's very tiny.
Yes.
I also like to make sure no matter how big your guys' spaces are, give a transition zone for your customers. When they come in, in Retail Bootcamp, we lay this out in a store. But your customers have to have an area in the store where they can come in, they can relax, they can unzip their coat, they can get familiar, and they can make a decision where they want to go. 600 square feet can feel really close, but nonetheless, give them that opportunity to make a decision. When you empower your customer, they're going to like, know, and trust you and stay longer. If they feel like you're doing all the talking and all the decision making and you're pushing them in a direction, they're going to bounce super fast.
Okay. Yeah. And we do have that transitional space as you refer to. When you walk in the front door, there is what we call like a foyer area where we do have forward-facing merchandise. And then you kind of enter into the main part of the store. Again, it's very small and we do have a lot of stuff because again, we're trying to get everybody and have choices for everybody. So I think we're also doing you said less is more. We're doing more is more.
Okay. I'm really curious about more about your business, but it almost seems to me a little bit more curated experience might be really valuable for you.
Okay.
If you could sell that and if you could explain that and get more buy-in on that, that makes those people feel like they're in a small space, but they are going to be you're curating a look for them.
Okay.
And
so full outfits is what you're saying.
Sorry?
You're saying full outfits, head to toe looks.
I'm saying that, but I'm also saying to the point where if you have to keep a few things in the back, keep them in the back and then train your staff that as certain asks are being made from the customer, once she's saying she's interested in certain things, you say, hey, I have just the right thing for you. And then you start maybe pulling things from the back or wherever.
And I realize this is very specific to our store and doesn't apply to the majority here, but we have no back either. We literally have 2 dressing rooms and a big open space. So there is no quote unquote back, not even a space behind the counter. It's very small. So,
Then I guess the one thing I would do is I would do a real audit of your inventory and what is working. What are you willing to let go of? So you can create some more space and you can
Okay.
create some more, just, yeah, flexibility.
okay.
Because if you're offering too many different things, very wide assortment, very thin, that can, it's very hard to merchandise that as well.
Yeah, we do color palette.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely look at like different classes of inventory that you're offering and what's working and what isn't.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, you bet.
Sarah, I want to jump in here. Hello, EB Boutique in the chat. She's asking, how do you do that online? So I want to give you guys a good example. I love shouting out boutiques that I think just are doing spectacular jobs in different areas. I just talked to this boutique owner on the phone the other day. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Herringstone's boutiques, if you're from the South. I talked to Hannah. I think that they do a tremendous job if you're someone who's multi-generational and you're showing that on your website and also like merchandising different collections. They sell everything from the homecoming dresses that are popular in the South. Like you guys go all out. Me from the Midwest, I don't even know what that is. Like it's a whole nother level. Sarah's talking about unzipping her coat when she walks into a store. That is the most Midwest thing I've heard on this chat all day. I love it. But the Herringstones girls, they've got the fancy homecoming dresses all the way up to, you know, anything older ladies can wear to work. I think they do really well being multi-generational and they build it into collections, but they also build multiple ages into their photo shoots and showcase that beautifully on their websites. So if you need a good example, if you're looking for something online, I would say check out their website as well. All right, next question, Marion.
Hi everyone. First of all, I'm sorry because I'm French and I might not say properly what I want to say, so I hope you will understand me. Thank you so much for these 3 days. I learned a lot. Talking about my business, I'm selling home decor and accessories, fully handcrafted back in Morocco. And we just started, we received all the products back in July and started to make some pop-ups and events in September. My main point is that I've been working on this project for 1.5 years now. It took a lot of time to get everything settled down, sent to the United States, and to install everything. And so we started just back in September. And I'm feeling like I'm a bit stuck right now in terms of awareness. So I would like to know, that's my first question, like how can I stand out and make sure that people get to know me and my brand mainly, knowing that I have one website and I'm doing some events, but like very a few of them depending on the opportunities. I'm LA based, just in case it's important. And my second point is more like technical question for Jeff maybe. Trying to get to more people knowing us. I set up my business profile on Google. I used to be like the first one to pop out when someone was putting my name on Google. And now I just disappear. I mean, I didn't disappear, but I'm visible only if you check through Google Maps, which is kind of bothering me. And I cannot find any way to make it back on the searching page of Google. I don't know if there is something I'm missing. I try to change the area of my business. I'm approved. I mean, I'm certified. I don't know how you say that. So I check all the boxes. I'm right here. Some people can write a review for me if I send the link, but still I don't appear when someone is looking for us over the Google. I have many more questions, but I think I will narrow down to these ones.
I love this question. Can you give us, what is your website? We all want to see your products. We're all very curious. What's your website? Someone could drop that in the chat and then Jeff could take a look at it as well.
I will draw it right now. Well,
are you putting it in the chat?
Yes.
Perfect. And so I just want to make sure I understand this right. So you make handmade beautiful products. You have a website Shopify maybe, and you're wanting to sell in the United States and do pop-ups?
So we have a website. It's not Shopify, unfortunately. To be honest, like I just started. I was like taking
That's
this the less expensive one. So I went with Wix.
Okay.
It was a year ago I made it, and yes, I'm like I was planning to make it like fully online first. So here is the website, sorry. But then I understood like people actually love to see what they're buying, and even more when it comes to home decor. And oh, I see a lot of people popping on my Apple Watch right now. So as soon as we made like pop-ups events or market events, I mean, we have a good conversion rate, so it's good, but still these events are very local, very small events so far. And I'm feeling like we don't get the awareness yet. And I cannot understand like what I should do to make this step. I mean, to make this change, because we tried digital campaign, local digital campaigns. I'm posting on Instagram, sorry, every 3 times a week. And yeah, thank you for your for your comments.
Yeah, so I was just totally snooping on your website, which I'm sure everyone is. Your site's beautiful. Your products are stunning. Your brand aesthetic is on point. You know what I think is missing? I just popped on your Instagram really quick. I would be attracted to buy from you, but I don't see you anywhere on there.
Yeah, that's a real point. I know I need to. That's tough for me because I'm French and I'm feeling like I'm not speaking very well. And every time I'm doing some stuff, I'm like, oh my God, it's taking so long time to make it perfectly.
This is what you need to know about Americans is we all love your accent and we're all so jealous of it because we speak like this. I speak like I'm from the Midwest and I have a lot of A's and O's. So as much as you might be thinking we don't understand, we do, and we want more of it and we're intrigued by it. So that's your biggest point that sets you apart and makes you different than everybody else. Use that to your advantage. And people aren't interested in buying products. People are interested in buying stories. And they're interested in having things that create emotion. When you become a key point of your brand and you build a community around your brand and you have a story in your brand, that's what you're actually selling. So get present, get active, show the behind the scenes. You know, I talked about those 3 types of content. There's the branded content, all the behind the scenes, the engaging content, which is just asking questions, and then the products. Right now, your brand is just products. So
yeah, that's another point I had, because so we're not like, that's also the point of the inventory. To be honest, like it's a long process because it's handcrafted product. So it takes like 6 months back and forth to make one single product. And once we receive everything, we group everything because it's costing a lot otherwise. And we're all in this sustainable. I mean, we have it in mind, so we don't bring things like by air freight, but only through ship, and it's taking a lot. So that's also like, how do I keep the hype, if it's the right word, with behind the scene, knowing that I have like a large assortment, but few quantities on each. And I don't have delivery every single month, definitely not. I have them like, to be honest, my last one was back in July. So
yeah,
like
I would encourage you. I'm looking at these beautiful like crossbodies that you have. This is it, the feta bag. It's stunning and it's only $70.
Yeah,
to me, it's handmade, it's sustainable, it's one of a kind. To me, that's a $200 bag. Like I would encourage you to really look at your numbers because I feel like you may be leaving margin on the table. The more margin you have, the more opportunity you have to put back in manufacturing and creating more inventory. So again, it's not about price, it's about value. You've got a lot of value.
I know. And we talked about it like yesterday, and I know that's like the perception and things like that. It's tough for me to express because again, I'm coming from France, like everything is a bit cheaper, and I'm like always the time like, okay, how can people somehow like put this money in this not famous brand yet. I hope one day will be.
It's going to take you to make it famous. It's not going to get famous on its own. You are the catalyst that will make it famous. Yeah. So
Okay.
don't quit discounting yourself. You have so many amazing attributes and qualities right now. Just don't take that for granted. That's your superpower. Jeff, do you have
Thank you.
anything?
Well, the one main issue with your site is that Google's not indexing your site correctly. And so you're not getting any credit for any of your social posts or any of your social pages, and you're not getting credit for any of your keywords, and you're not getting credit for any backlinks that may exist. And so
how do you know that? I'm sorry, because I'm very, very like newbie on this stuff. Like, how do you know it's not credited from Google? Because
we use a third-party tool that checks to see and this is available inside of the membership dashboard, by the way, these same tools that measures your on-page SEO, your backlinks, your usability, your performance, and your social links. And you don't have any connection between your keywords, your backlinks, or your social pages. And so that means that Google's not incorporating those into your index. And so that's something that you would want to, did you already convert to GA4?
So that's the point. When I went on my Google Analytics profile, it didn't ask me any GA4 stuff, like the banner that you said.
Probably it. That's probably it. It's probably waiting for you to convert to GA4.
But how do I do that then? Because I'm trying to understand, like, how do I get GA4? And I saw the video you sent, and I'm doing it. I mean, when I'm going on my Google Analytics, I can see like organic search, organic, the one that you said yesterday or the day before. And still, I don't know if I'm doing it right or not. And on top, initially, like, I know that someone yesterday had the same issue. I created everything through my personal email. So all even the Google ad campaigns and stuff like that, now they are all linked to my personal email. And the idea of my business is linked to my personal email. I'm not sure how to do the switch to make sure like everything now is linked to my professional email address that I have now.
I'm grabbing a step-by-step article for you to walk you through that process that you're asking about. I'll drop that link in the chat.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this like webinar. It was the first time I heard about it, and to be honest, like, it's a lot of information. So excited and so overwhelming at the same time. I don't know for other business owner, but I mean, it's a huge source of inspiration. Thank you so much for this, guys.
That's the article right there. I just dropped it in the chat.
Thank you.
Perfect. We're so glad you're here. Thank you for raising your hand, and we're all excited to follow your journey. We're all going to be stalking you online now. Certainly. Thanks again. Shout out to Beth. Someone just said Beth is being a superstar. Nicole is also in the chat. Both of them are being superstars today, dropping all the links. Beth did just drop, as Jeff mentioned, you have an opportunity, Marian, when you're a member of the Boutique Hub. We do this on our dashboard for all of our members every day. Our dashboard is going to be getting a bit of a facelift. Jeff and I just talked about it this morning. But when you go to the My Metrics section, Beth has it in the chat. You can put in your website and it will run tests on all these things for you immediately. And then it'll grade you A to F. And then it will show you immediately with those grades, what can you do to improve? So we're looking at load times, we're looking at backlinks, we're looking at overall SEO, we're looking at social engagement. There's a number of scores that it will rank for you against the industry. So it's taking all of the industry data we have access to, and it's saying, how do I stack up against other retailers, home and gift, as well as online apparel, children's, all things. So please use that. It's a huge free bonus that you can't find anywhere else, certainly. Okay, Danielle, I see you. Welcome back.
Hi, me again. Feels so ridiculous when you call me out. Like, I love it, but I'm like, oh, here I am just talking again. Okay, Jeff, thank you for our little meeting yesterday. The reason he had to get off of here is because we had a meeting, and he made me feel really good that I'm doing the right things with SEO, and that's like gigantic relief because I get really bogged down in it. So yay. my question is about, I think the last time I looked, it was 5 or 6% of my subscribers in Shopify, because we ask everyone at checkout every time for their email, but they never opted in when they got that confirmation email, that like double opt-in email. Is there any way to target that? Like, am I allowed to email them again somehow and be like, hey, psst, you're not actually on the list? Because then they come into the store and they give me their email and it's already in the system and like, cool, great. But like, how do I resend that email or something?
And you're using Shopify email? Is that what you said?
Clavio, however it's said.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head what are the exact steps you would take, but
Okay.
actually you can resend that email or export those users and resend to them. Double opt-ins are great for a lot of reasons. They aren't necessarily required by law.
Okay.
Like as
I will
long
talk.
And just there is a setting inside of your Klaviyo that changes that to a single opt-in, by the
Right.
way.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I had like Crystal with CJC set up all my Klaviyo stuff, so I can ask her too. But we do have the double opt-in, but I noticed there's a lot of people that are subscribed but never actually opted in.
You are diminishing your email growth list with that. A single opt-in is all that's required, and then that person doesn't have to go back to their email, confirm their email address.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll get rid of it.
Perfect. Easy. Done. Check. I love it. Thank you. All right. Is it Tynell? Is that how you pronounce your name? I see you have a helper. We've got to hear from you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Tanel.
Tynell. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. So I got a couple things. I want to bounce off of Marion's comment just because of the price subject. Because I can definitely relate to that. So I design and make the Western headbands, and I've been told to up my prices. I went from $14. I originally started at $9 and then I went to $14 and now I'm at $18, and I'm still told that my price point is too low for the quality of the product and the time put behind it. But I don't want to lose my current customers. We're very rural. We're in Wyoming. My business is the Wyoming Rose. This is Demi Rose, so that's where the rose comes from. So I'm really at that point where, and I also offer wholesale, so I want to benefit my wholesale side of things, but I don't want to push my current customers away, because in the end, you're paying $18 for a headband. You know, I want to look at it realistically, rather than upping my prices and scaring away my current group.
Yeah. Your customers and yourself, what's the last pair of cowboy boots you bought and how much did they cost?
Okay. Close to 500.
Yeah, you have probably a saddle in your barn. What did you spend on it?
Okay.
The purse that you carry, how much did you pay for it?
Okay.
So I know the Western world very well, and I know that we're all willing to spend money on things that we love. So I think there's maybe a money story you've told yourself about what you think your customers are willing to spend because they're from a small town or because you're from Wyoming. Because I'm from North Dakota, I've also told myself a lot of things about being small. So I just challenge you to just think outside the box about what else your customer is spending, and is a $2 increase on a headband really going to be a make or break if they find something that's really cool and unique and has fabulous quality. And obviously they're buying from you. Look at your story. You have brand story, right? And just like we were talking about, people want to buy into this story and they want to shop from you. So a $2 deal is not a make or break, especially with your customer and in your industry. And also, if you want to sell wholesale, the biggest gripe you're going to hear from boutique owners when they're buying wholesale from you is they don't want you selling something cheaper than they would sell it. So a typical boutique owner, I don't know what your wholesale price is going to be on these, but if they can't get at least a three or more times markup, And if your price is going to be lower than whatever that 3 times markup would be, they probably aren't going to buy it because they won't envision themselves getting a return. They would envision their customers coming and shopping with you instead of them because you're going to have it cheaper. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. Another thing, I switched from Square to Shopify about 5 months ago, and I kind of feel like I opened a can of worms. So I'm still learning the whole process because it is night and day difference between Square and Shopify. And I was actually advised by the boutique hub at Dallas Market in August, because I was told the Shopify wholesale account can link to the Hubventory.
Yeah.
So that was one of the main reasons I switched to Shopify. But another thing is my email list is, when you search apps for email lists, like you get spammed with so many different apps to put on. Like, what are your top 5 apps you would recommend for Shopify?
Oh man, Sarah, I feel like we have a whole list of these. Do we have a list that's a free download we could give to everybody?
Yep, I'll go grab it.
Okay, that'd be great. So a couple things. There's a lot of people here who you said Square, right? Is what you were on first?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of people here who use Square and who use Wix, and please don't take this as me dogging them out. I'm not. But when it comes to like side-by-side comparison of what does Shopify offer in terms of App Store, native integrations, and open API, just being user-friendly, the detailed reports on point of sale, there's just more to offer with Shopify. That's why we just really promote it. We've seen them all. We believe it to be the best. It doesn't make the other ones terrible. They're still usable. Use them where you are. Get the most out of them while you can. And when it's time, I think Shopify is a great option. So when it comes to email specifically, Klaviyo is going to be the thing you hear the most of. I would, if you guys are in the chat and you want to drop what you use, Shopify also has a native email built in. They had a big fight with MailChimp a couple years ago, which led to them building their own email platform. So you can use that to get started because it's included with your Shopify account. So that's a great option. And then if you want to get a little bit more in depth and do a lot more segmenting, I think Klaviyo is probably your next best option. Other apps for Shopify. Sarah will grab the list so we have all of them. For reports, I would say Better Reports, Delirious Profit. Those are really great ones if you have maybe the more basic plan and need access to more numbers. Yesterday we talked about the Hexcom free shipping bar and making sure you've got that countdown to free shipping on your site. Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. Whatever your shipping platform is, right? ShipStation or Pirate Ship, whatever. There's a number of things. Jeff, I can hear you. Are you wanting to jump in?
No, you're good.
Okay. But I'll defer to Sarah's list of all the other things because I know I will leave something out. And those of you who are watching in the members only group right now, that list is already in your training library. So I think Nicole just dropped that in the chat for you guys as well. But hopefully, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that definitely helps. I see the link was dropped for the hub members. Will we get a link for the non-members?
Yep, I'm grabbing a download that'll drop for all non-members, and then it's in layer 4 for hub members that are watching in the Facebook group.
Perfect.
And we just added to that, so I know there's a whole bunch of them on there. Perfect. And is Shopify good for brick and mortars as well? Yes. Yes, it is. What you were talking about as well, I want to mention this one last thing is those of you who also do wholesale, I know there's a number of you who are here today. And to your point, it does automatically connect to Hubventory. Shopify also connects to Faire. So if you're selling on either of those platforms, you can automatically upload all of your products. Those of you who are retailers who are buying wholesale on Hubventory, which is our wholesale platform, you can connect your Shopify as well. So when you purchase something, it'll automatically create a draft product for you in your Shopify account. So no more like managing purchase orders and having to create all the product. It'll automatically do that for you. All right. So are you going to increase your prices tomorrow? Is that
I know I should. I struggle with that.
What's the difference between $18 and $20?
I am scared I'm going to lose more customers.
How many more sales could you make and how much more margin could you make that would make a more sustainable business long term?
Sales, I don't know if I can make more or not. Margin, most definitely. But even wholesale, it's 50% right now. I'm not at that 3 times markup.
Yeah. So if a boutique owner wants to buy from you and they spend $9 on a headband, I'm curious, you guys watching, if you bought a $9 headband wholesale, what would you sell it for?
We did go to the NFR, and just because everything is so crazy expensive, we did sell it for 25. And not very many people blinked an eye.
I think you know the answer to your question. Run the math. I mean, you just run the math. I was sitting here just doing some numbers. So say what did you say you normally are pricing them at?
18.
Yeah, okay. So if you do them at 18, and do people traditionally buy more than one at a time? So I mean, they're looking at 18 and you're looking at a $54 investment.
Yeah, it's either 3 to 4.
Yeah. So maybe then do a little incentive on the 4, right? And give them, so bump them up and then say, hey, when you price, 3 are full price, but if you buy 4, you get $5 off. You're still way ahead.
Okay. I like that idea. That makes me feel a little better.
Remember, I mean, I feel like you're coming from the heart of, I want to give them something. Well, you're giving them a freaking amazing headband. You're giving them plenty, right? And you put your blood, sweat, and tears in it, and you want something to pass on down to Rose there, right? So yeah, don't discount yourself. Don't discount the products and the amazing products you're putting out there. So, but you run the numbers and people will not blink an eye. And if you want to give them a little bonus, so be it. Give them an incentive to buy more. Because remember, we talked about it earlier this week. You're not in the market to sell one item at a time.
Okay. I needed that pep talk. Thanks, girls.
There you go. You got it.
I want to, Sarah, and I know you'd be on board with this too. I want to challenge everyone in the chat who said I would then just double it and make 20 bucks on it. I would encourage you guys too. You're missing opportunity. If you're just keystoning your products and you're only doubling it, you're missing out on where the opportunity really is. The question is, when you look at something, what can I sell this for? Not what does the math tell me is 2 times markup. So if you can't get at least a 2.5 or a 3, like where's the opportunity that we're leaving on the table? You have to do a ton of quantity, right? You have to drive a ton of quantity in order to make up for that margin long term. So
yeah, we've all sold something and it flew out, right? Or you put something on Facebook Marketplace, you're cleaning out an old bedroom or whatever, and you're like, oh, I just want to get rid of this dresser. And you put it out there and literally 30 seconds later, you have 15 comments like, yep, I'll take it. I'll take it. You're like, what's the first thing you say? Oh, crap. I should have charged more for that. Same thing here.
all right, let's see, Melissa.
Oh, hi, sorry. Oh, sorry. I have a little one here too. It's lunchtime. We're in Connecticut.
Precious.
So I own a home store. I started 3 years ago. I signed a 3-year lease and I got pregnant with my third, which is her right after, of course. So I actually tried to sell my business. So as Sarah was saying before, boutique is really hard because you are the face of the business. And I was trying to sell it. And I had 5 people who were really interested. And then eventually they were all like, you have to be it. That's how everybody wants you. And that's how it is. Our sales are really high when I'm in store. So eventually someone came in and gave me money to get out. Basically, they didn't buy anything. They gave me online. So basically, I'm rebranding and doing everything online. So, but we had a brick and mortar for 3 years. Our return customer base is amazing. Like I'll bring in a sweatshirt and it has nothing to do with home decor. It'll sell out. So as we go into online, I want to rebrand where I'm no longer the face. So when we do the store again, as we do the store again, I'm not saying that I'm Joanna Gaines, but you're not going to see Joanna at Magnolia Home. I want to get a manager. I want to do it right. how would I rebrand but still have a community in that sense? And I guess that's like a question for Sarah, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Sarah, feel free to jump in.
Sorry, clearing my throat. So what you want to do is you want to build a business that does not just revolve 100% around you. You want to build that brand, build that community. So everything you do is bringing in other experts, right? In that whole hero idea that we talked about on day one, that when I say that you are the educator, you're the go-to, you're the one that they're going to like, know, and trust, I really mean your brand, your business. So you want to incorporate them when you're talking and you're speaking life into your business. It's not it's not my, you start using words like our and we. That's a really big one. When you do live sales, when you do fit videos, when you do photos, bringing other people back in and making sure that and when you start that and you spin it, the story that you're telling is it's not one-sided. You're bringing in your team and helping them understand how they are together building this business and how they have a part in it and a role they're playing in it, right? And as you do that, there's no guarantees that that every personality you bring in your business is going to be, a home run, but you're going to find some that really are.
Okay. And then I have another question really quickly. I started the business basically as a brick and mortar, really, really small, and it became an experience. Probably 20 to 30% of our profit has been our home fragrance, which is our handmade candles. And then another 15 to 20% was our real touch florals. But I would say majority of people who came in for the experience of like, it's so beautiful, everything is just like, I just want to live here. Great. Well, how do I, and I know you guys are going to be like, it's your website and your photography, but how do I basically switch to online only and do that presence where it's not just me taking pictures all the time in my home, because now it's just me. And so really that's a two-part question. Should I focus on wholesale and maybe doing that for our home fragrance line and market that and do that this year until we rebuild our own brick and mortar, which is our plan 2 years down the road? Or should we just try to continue what already works and hope that the customer base shows up for the online store and just continue the home decor in that aspect? I mean, really, what would be more profitable with just like those very minimal percentage that I just gave you?
I just am confused. Like, if it ain't broke.
I know you sound like my accountant. She's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I'm like, is there money to be had in wholesale? If you're making close to 30% on your home fragrance candle line, should I focus on that? And then that's less work for me as a stay-at-home mom with 3. And that maybe is something other people on this chat could say.
Yeah, I mean, everyone can jump in here, but I just have to clarify this in my mind. So you're going to reopen a brick and mortar in the future. And
way bigger. Yeah.
Okay. But why are you wanting to take yourself out of the brand in the process?
So one, I want it to be sellable. And to be sellable, I can't be the face of it. And 2, because I'm okay with me being the face of it, but being the face of it as like Joe for Magnolia Home or McGee Home, but you're not going to see me in store. And this is not offense to anybody, I just don't want to be an older woman still running a store every day. And I just don't.
I totally agree with that. And the reason they aren't in store is because they've built a brand that's given them the freedom to step back, right? I think about that with the Boutique Hub. Like, you didn't sign up for Ashley Alderson's coaching today. You came to the Boutique Hubs training. And yeah, I'm the face of it, but I have Sarah and I have Jeff and Shannon and Beth and Alistair and all these other people. Like, we're in this together. They're my SEAL Team 6 of the Boutique Hub. It's not just me. Same opportunities for you. Like, don't cut yourself out of it because you're part of the equation that's working. Like you might be cutting out your cash cow if you completely walk away. You have to use yourself to build the brand and let the brand be sustainable, and then build up other voices around you that can also be like models or faces behind the brand or whatever, that creates a product that is marketable, you know, with or without you. Even like, you know, if you do sell the business at some point, you may have a clause where you have to stay on for a certain period of time to help transition into whatever the new face is going to be. So I don't know, just don't cut off what's already been proven to work, especially if you're going to be in a brick and mortar in the future. You can still show up. Like, think about how often you see me in marketing for the hubs stuff. You probably see me, my face a lot, right? But that doesn't mean that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm on every single day and that I'm live every single day and that it's like I'm crazy busy. I have 3 kids in sports. We travel a ton. We're everywhere. I have hobbies, like, but I've had to figure out, how do I take things off my plate so I can be a mom and have a life? And then how do we automate so many things that we do? So you see my face a lot, but it doesn't necessarily take a ton of my time, which I think it sounds like for you, that's probably the root issue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. Someone paid me to get out of the store. We were doing so well. They were like, I don't want anything to do with this. I just want the spot because you've just killed it. And I'm like, great. But now I'm like, well, I have this brand and we're going to build really big.
Yeah.
But how do people stop asking Melissa, hey, Melissa, is this you on Instagram? Hey, Melissa, can you do the ribbon? I left my product in store. I want you to do the gift wrapping. I want you to do the ribbon. I'm like, okay, like I have sports. I've got kids. My husband's a resident. Like, this is nuts.
Yeah. So whoever is the next person with you. So for me, like Beth and Sarah, like, hey, I could show you this, but you know what? Sarah would be even better. Like, you have to, in your marketing, instill trust in whoever your other people are. And that takes time. But as you do it, pretty soon you don't even come to me anymore. You just go to Sarah because her analogies are way better than mine, right? Like, you'd rather hear from Sarah. But we built that by design, and you can do that too by introducing those other faces to your brand. So it sounds like you built something incredible. Don't go tearing it down and changing it just yet. Like, stick to what works and keep going, especially if you have another launch coming in the future.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
You bet. Congrats. It sounds awesome. I want to drop your website. I would love to look at it.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. I'm just so geeking out on this stuff, you guys. I love these conversations. I also have to tell you something else I'm geeking out on in the comments. So Marion, who's French, who was just on here, I don't know if you guys know this, but Alistair, who's on our team, is French. Technically, she's from America, but she's been living in France for, I don't know how many years, Alistair. So there's a whole conversation happening in French in the chat. Alistair, you win the day. Thank you for doing that. Beth, thanks for hooking them up. All right, Missy.
Okay, is that me?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So totally out of my comfort zone. I usually don't even have my video on, but so I am outside Chicago. I have a really small online boutique. It's called Jersey and Grace. So it came about, everything I get is from small businesses all over the country. I don't reach for like big, well-known brands. I don't like, I've some very successful boutiques in my town. It wasn't really about competing. It was more of doing my own kind of, you know, I find these wonderful small businesses and these products they create and the stories behind the messages. So I take these things and they're on my website. It's like my collection of things I found. So I guess my first question is, does that even sound sustainable? Like, I don't have, you know, I'll go, I love your sweatshirts. I want to get one run of each size, put them on my, you know, say where you are, say your story, if that makes sense. I just quit my full-time job as a preschool assistant with special needs kids to do this. And I'm kind of like struggling. Does that even sound sustainable? Does that even make sense? Is that something that can actually, I can move forward with and actually also make money? And I guess along with that is I've never been to markets. I've only find people kind of through word of mouth on Instagram, stuff like that. Is that something you can find at markets? Smaller businesses, you know, I pride myself on like everything's made in the United States, sustainable this and all that stuff. So
I'm so excited for you. What town are you located in?
At Elmhurst, Illinois. It's about 20 miles west of Chicago.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah, so I have a website. I had somebody help me out, build that out. I do not go on camera. I do not do live. I do not honest to God, I'm losing my breath just talking to you on here. It makes me crazy, but I've taken away nothing. I have to get on the camera. I have to be a face. People need to trust me. People need to see me. People need to hear my story. So, but yeah, is that even something, does that sound like crazy? Like, oh, this is a little side gig and that's fun for you, but it's never gonna be anything more than that.
No, you've got to give yourself way more credit. So the whole conversation we started 2 days ago was how not to compete with Shein and Temu and all this cheap crap from China that everyone's selling and all looking like one another. So what's selling is story. And you are carrying brands that all have individual stories. There's 1,000 wholesale members in the boutique hub. And so many of them are just like you. They all have stories. So I think about Sammy from Mixology. She's a former breakaway roper. She started this cool perfume business. It's bloomed into all these different things. It's a women-owned business. Like, she has a story. So you partnering with someone like Sammy and being able to tell her story and doing some collaborations where they can also promote and tell your story, that's a huge win-win. That's what people really.
I did do a collaboration with a local, she makes candles, but she did, it's called Shore Water. It's a perfume. We collaborated together. We made it. I put it on my site. I was so excited. I'm from Jersey Shore. I'm living in the Midwest. I am 100% a Jersey girl. I used to have the hair. I have the attitude, whatever. We created this perfume and I was like, this is the best. This is the Jersey Shore in a bottle. It's amazing. It didn't sell. Like, a couple of people that know me and one girl like, oh, I love New Jersey, but I was like, this is amazing. And then I just post like, buy this. And then that's it. Yeah. Like, nobody knows the story unless they stop to read. So I guess how do I harness in all these stories and tell my story, tell other people's stories? Is there a question in there?
Yeah, there is. And you're not going to like my answer. So just like, guard your armpits. They're going to start sweating. Okay.
Are you hyperventilating?
I know, you're going to hyperventilate. Video. So you're trying to sell a bunch of brands that have a story, but you're too scared to tell your story.
Right.
Because you're not doing video.
Right.
So baby steps. I know it's so sweaty. Everyone here who does live video can attest to how sweaty it is when you first start, but it gets so much easier. It really does. And when you can just be honest about, you guys, I've never done this before, you know, you're just building your authenticity with your audience and building a community, like, you know, from the Jersey Shore, like, this is how I would handle my sweaty armpits. And you just be real with it. That's what people want to see. The biggest thing that's out in 2024 is perfection. It's not real. It's fake. They just want to know the real you, as uncomfortable as that might feel sometimes. So the more you can be comfortable telling your story, the easier it's going to be to tell other people's stories. And that's what's going to attract your customer. There's a million brands out there that would love to partner with you. Bear's got a lot of great brands. Hubventory at the Hub. These are all our Hub vetted brands. You can shop on there. You can search by Made in America. You can search by small owned, women owned, all the things, small batch. Those brands would all love to work with you.
Okay. And so it's like getting on, being present on Instagram, do Facebook,
on your Facebook group.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And you can do before you like jump head first into Facebook lives and Instagram lives, just start with stories. Just start with an Instagram story that's just face to camera. Like, that's an easy way because you can delete it, you know? Right. And once you get comfortable, I think that's an easy way in. Once stories become more comfortable to you, then live video is a little bit easier.
Okay. I'm like seeing comments and stuff. I literally am like, I don't know, a little fangirling right here too. So I don't know. Anyway, okay. Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, if those were questions, but I appreciate your time. So thank you very much.
Awesome.
I just want to add, Missy, I'm dropping just a screenshot I just took on Hubventory. Some of the things that you are saying are important to you, like Ashley said, where you can buy according to different values on Hubventory. So I'm just going to drop that screenshot in the chat for you right now.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't want to lose the kind of everyone has a story, but I also want to be realistic in like, should I just throw things on my own personal page, be like, hey, this is fun, you know, like, and not actually try and create a business around this idea. But I kind of think it'll work. I guess I have to believe in myself more. So
yeah, I mean, you aren't going to know unless you go for it.
Right. I quit my job, so there's that.
Yeah, and if you're not winning, you're learning. That's right. Sarah Burke says this all the time, right? So it's one day at a time. Like, just keep going, but don't kill it before it starts.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Oh, I see Alexia with the dog. I told her if I saw her today, I was gonna call on her. So let's hear it. There you go. I can hear you.
Perfect. Okay. A few things. First of all, my customer return rate is actually crazy high, which part of me thinks that's a really good thing. But then, so it's 88% is when I looked at it, and it doesn't, over any of the months, it doesn't drop below 72%, and that's for my brick and mortar, not online. But the other part of me is like, is that not a good thing? Because that means I'm not getting new customers in through the door. Is that the case?
Jeff, I want to hear you jump in on this, but I would also ask you, so how many new customers are you seeing in store and how are you tracking that? Like, what's your email growth look like?
Yeah. So I do track my new customers. I can pull it up on my Excel spreadsheet. I am getting new customers in the hundreds per month. I just have a very loyal customer following when it comes to my brick and mortar. Not so much. My online customer return rate in the last 90 days is 42.5%. So my online is not that great.
Jeff, you want to add
But
to that?
curious as to if I should be doing more to try to get in new customers into my store with a return rate being 88%, because I feel like that's actually not a good thing in my mind.
I would make sure that you're doing everything you can do on the top of your funnel and your brand awareness, and like making sure that you're reaching out to everybody possible, to, you know, and if that return rate shrinks, that's okay, because at least we're, you know, attracting new people. So it sounds like to me your top of funnel is not quite wide enough.
Yeah, that's what I would think too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that 88%. At first I was like, oh yeah, score. Then I was like, wait, no, I'm not getting enough new customers. It does dip, like I said, to 72 and in the 70s over some months, but that 88 really stuck out. Touching on what you said earlier, Ashley, I just wanted to, obviously I've been in business. This is my 11th year, and all this stuff is still very overwhelming for me, especially when it comes to Google Analytics. It's a hot mess, my ads and stuff. But when we were at Mastermind, for those of you that Ashley spoke about earlier, when I would run my top brands, Love Shack Fancy was always in one of my top brand categories. And I had never really looked into the margins. And so I actually just ran this while we were on this Zoom. And I spent $51,000 in inventory for Love Shack Fancy. And my profit was $17,855. So that's super eye-opening. And that's one of their, obviously I dropped that brand, but it happened to be in my top selling brands month over month. And I had never dug deep enough prior to getting with Christine Gray and really looking at my margins. And so I highly advise you to do so if you just run your top brands and not look at your margins. And same with like Free People was one of my top selling brands. And I looked back at 2019 when we were on the Zoom, and I had made 59,000, which sounds great. And the profit margin was 42%. And then by 2022, my profit margin had dropped to 35%. And so I know Free People, the markup's only 50%. And then they kill you with credit card fees. They kill you with shipping. And so that's something that I really, really honed in on in 2022 and 2023 was I dropped some of my best selling brands because the margins weren't there.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed the past 3 days. Thank y'all so much for this. It's really been very helpful.
We're so glad you're here, and we're all drooling over your dog. And
Roscoe.
His tongue hanging out
Say
of
hi to everybody. Yeah, so it's hereditary for Chihuahuas to have bad teeth, and he had to have 9 teeth pulled. So he had a hair lip, and that tooth held his tongue in, and so unfortunately that tooth had to get pulled, and so now he has nothing to hold that little tooth in.
Oh, he's so cute. Thanks
I
for
know.
being here. It's so good to see you.
Yes, I
I
love
just
seeing
wanted to
y'all as
add-
always.
I wanted to add to what Alexia said when she was talking about free people and how their shipping is expensive and their credit card fees. When you are looking at these vendors, again, we had this conversation earlier, don't just allow them to ship to you whenever it's convenient for them. And if they continue to ship broken packs where you're going to get the small, the medium, and the large, but then all of a sudden, weirdly enough, the extra large gets shipped separate and there's $7 shipping on that one extra large that you're getting, pay attention, make notes of that, have a conversation back with the vendor about that, because what's happening is they're shipping the extra large from a different warehouse often, or it's coming from a different cut or whatever it is. But nonetheless, that's the problem of the brand. It is not for you need to be aware of it and upfront. So that helps in that buying and investing decision you're going to make. And ultimately, it really does affect your margin, because you're looking and saying, is this worth it? I look at the additional expenses in my cost here to just have these items. So I love that she mentioned that, those credit card fees, all the things, if you can pay a vendor cash, it does. I mean, golly, cash in your business, that's a whole nother conversation. We're so quick to just, do everything via credit card, but did anybody get completely sticker shocked when they looked at see how much they spent in credit card processing fees? How much of the money that came into your store you did not actually even get to keep last year? That's another part in the Boutique Boss Planner. We itemize that out. We do a line item every month on what you pay in credit card processing fees. And I do that specifically so that when you do get that call and somebody says, hey, are you interested in renegotiating your rates or looking at other providers? Instead of you just saying, no, what I have works, it's really important to say, all right, it might work like transaction wise, but is it working for my business?
So good.
I'll tell you too, with free people, they don't care. I've talked to them about shipping until I was blue in the face. I got over 1,000 pairs of the Way Home short in, literally over 1,000 pairs, probably closer to 2,000. And we still have some. There you go. They would ship a box this big and it would have 1 pair of shorts in it. And I got charged per box, and it would have 1 flat short in it. Hey, Emery. They do not care. You could talk to them it might have changed. Like I said, I dropped them. I do still carry their shoes. The shoes still do very well for me. But sometimes vendors are so big, unfortunately, that they don't care. And that's been my personal experience. And therefore they had to go. So, and it's hard to break up with a vendor sometimes because you love their routes.
So true. All right, time for a couple more questions, you guys. I realized I did not do our giveaway winner yet. So we do our last giveaway winner of the day. Today's giveaway is a little bit Lena. A little bit Lena. Hopefully you're still on here. Thank you for participating today. Shop a little bit Lena is the Instagram handle. So we will tag you. Thanks for participating, you guys. All right, a couple more. Susan.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay, I'm just wondering about the markups. Like I had never done retail, excuse me, before I opened this boutique. I never had even worked in a retail store, so I had no idea except advice from a friend that had done this in a suburb of Chicago. She had told me to try to mark up at least 2.5 times, but I noticed you said something about a minimum of 3. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this is a whole conversation, and Sarah loves talking about this as well. So there's not a hard and fast rule. In the old days, people would talk about, I really hate that term, keystone 2 times. That doesn't work to have a sustainable business, in my opinion, anymore. So the question first is this: when you're buying something at market and you're looking at it and you're evaluating, should I bring this in? The question you ask is, what can I sell this for? what can I sell this for? And you assign a number in your head. Okay, I could sell this headband for $25, right? Then you would flip the tag and look at what is the wholesale price, and you do the math and say, is this sustainable for my business? Does this make sense? So in apparel, there's opportunities maybe for some apparel, it's MSRP, so maybe you only can do 50% if it's a name brand. In some cases, it's 3. Sometimes it's 3.5 times markup. With accessories, a lot of times it's higher, so we might be looking at a 7-time markup. If you go to the off-price show, you might be looking at 7, 8, 9 times markup, so you can use it as a loss leader. Let's just say, for example, over the holidays, you can mark it way up, put it on sale, and still make margin on it at the end of the day. Those of you in home and gift, yours is a lot of times a little bit lower. So sometimes in home and gift, we are at 2, 2.5, because we're looking at a higher priced good. So it just depends. Don't just like stick to that one hard and fast 2-time markup, 2.5-time markup. Try to first do that, what can I sell it for rule, and then make sure that initial markup makes sense for you. Does that help?
Okay, I guess, well, yeah, except I guess I don't know. How do I know what I can sell it for? Like I have no clue.
It would be, what is the customer traditionally spent? What are other retailers selling something similar for? You shopping around on Nordstrom, maybe just like doing research on what are the things that you're selling that other people are also selling? What are they selling it for?
Yeah, and it may take a little bit of time to just test the waters in your store, right? You're new, you're getting the lay of the land, you know, and you very well may just put a few opportunities out there and kind of test those things. But customer interviews, this is a really big one. Just asking some of your customers too. Like get a focus group together and just get them together and say, all right, here we've got some products. What do you guys think? What would you guys be willing to pay on something like this?
Okay. And one of the things too is like I'm in a really high-end area of town.
Yep.
Like we're right down the street from Taylor and Travis. So it's like all the stores here are very like high-end, and I specifically did not want to be, you know, the boutique that sells $600 jeans, because there's a need for that in this area, because just because people have money doesn't mean they want to spend it on, you know, like transitional stuff or whatever. So is that, but am I looking at that wrong? Should I try to be as expensive as all the other stores in the area?
Oh, I mean, it really does depend on what you're selling, right? Like, what is the product you're putting in front of them? Does that product have are you trying to, you know, sell, I don't know, Jeff, give me a car example, right? Like Jeff drives some cars I've never even heard of before. And then, you know, likes these cars, talks about them. And I'm over here in, you know, Geo Metro land saying, you know, gosh, I've never even heard of that before, but I would only pay so much money for a Jeff. I know nobody. I know I can't even see him on screen right now, but I can only imagine his face. But what I'm saying is, what are the product you're putting in front of your customer, and what is the realistic value to that customer? How is it affecting their life? How is it going to make things better for them? How is it solving a problem? And you can put a price tag on those things. And that all comes back to your communication back to your customer about it. When you just said, how do I know? That immediately like made me want to jump out of my seat. And like, if you don't know, damn sure don't put a 2-time markup on it, because they very well might be willing to pay 4-time markup on it. And then you've just lost half your dollars and set a precedence with your shoppers going on, you know, in the future. That's a really hard battle to, you know, to win later on. So
okay.
It is an experimental market. Really, it is. It's testing it out. And you might find some vendors that really turn fast for you, but your margin is so low on them, you're going to be like, this is a waste of my time. I have to work my butt off and I make no money on it. And hopefully you can find that middle ground. But also I'd be really, really leery of, don't market yourself as the more affordable store in your area.
Okay.
Because you know, that potentially could be a turnoff to a potential customer.
Okay.
Because you're basically telling her, I'm going to put something out here for you because I know you can't afford to shop there. And you don't know
that. Okay. That makes sense. Then my other question is about window displays. Like we have, like I'm very fortunate the space that I have, it's not a big space. It's only 900 square feet, but I'm on a corner. And so I have huge windows all the way around. And it's built where the windows actually have walls behind them. So I actually have window areas where I can do, displays. To me, that's one of the best parts of this whole thing, is being able to be creative and come up with these displays or whatever. But does that really make a big difference? Or, I mean, because just when I look around at all the other boutiques here in town, it's like all they do is they have their mannequins, and they have the mannequins with clothing in the window, and that's it. But generally you can see through the window into the store as well. Whereas I feel like I have more of an opportunity to do window displays like Macy's and things like that. But am I wasting my time and money doing that?
Oh man, no, that is your hero image, your website. That is that is setting the story and the tone for what's inside. Now, one thing that can be a deterrent is if you put something in the window that the customers don't jive with and they can't see further into your store, then maybe that like curiosity isn't there. Maybe they are going to feel like you've told a story with what you're offering in the window and there's nothing else in there if that's not what they wanted. You see what I'm saying? So I do like a little bit of the peek through opportunity in window displays.
Okay.
Macy's and Nordstrom's and things like that, it's a little bit different, but I certainly maximize that space. Put a nice assortment of a selection, tell a story there, have great signage, make sure, if you're running a sale, if you're having a new product launch, try to give information there. Change it out very often. I'm a big fan of every 10 days changing your window out for sure. That's exhausting. It can be a lot. I love height variations. I love something that we teach a lot about this in Retail Bootcamp too, but the odd numbers, 3, 5 mannequins, body forms. I love just getting like a standard to hang a half body form on that you can build that up. Very inexpensive. You can get those from Store Supply for less than $20, and just build off of those. Get an old dresser, an old buffet from a consignment store, or find it on the curbside somewhere. Take a can of spray paint, make it new again. Use those doors and the drawers and the cupboards to fill in with books and jewelry and all of those. Definitely that is an eye-catching opportunity to make somebody who's walking by or driving by stop and look and see, oh, what does she have available now? Right? What does Susan have? What new has she got in there? Oh, Susan changed her window display out. I better get back in there and see what's going on.
Okay. And I do have some windows, like where the front doors are, that those you can see right into the store.
Perfect.
So I try to keep product in front of those windows that I don't show in the window displays that have the scenes or the themes or whatever. So, and I guess maybe I have worried too much about like having really like interesting window displays, not so much as just showing multitudes of product.
Yeah, try to tell a story with your window. Try to tell a story, just like you do on, when you merchandise a photo shoot, right? Or you put an outfit together. It should be cohesive and it should be inviting. But change it out often. Make sure it's clean. Sorry. The other thing, be really careful with a full wall that it doesn't affect your lighting. If that is the main source of light into your brick and mortar store, just be conscious of that you don't have so many products or the wall isn't so dense that all of a sudden I can't tell if that's navy or black on the other side of it in your store.
Okay. That's what I needed. Thanks. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thanks.
And then I will just say one other thing, as you guys, I got to tie us back to numbers, but measuring your sell through on your windows, put products in your windows that you have quantity of to sell. It's kind of like when Jeff was talking about, don't run a big ad to something you only have 1 or 2 items in, because you're pushing all this traffic towards something, and you might get somebody to click on that ad and all of a sudden jump over to your site and you literally have an extra small left and that's it. Right? So try not to put products in your window that are the last ones, because then that customer comes in and now all of a sudden whoever's working has to stop what they're doing, climb into the window, undress a mannequin, unlayer something to try to give it to the person, which is the clock is ticking. Right now, I'm getting irritated. I have to go shopping. I have to go to the grocery store. I have to go to the mail drop. I have to do all these things. And this lady's still up there trying to take a necklace off a mannequin. So don't really try not to put your onesies, your last pieces in the window. Make that a focal point for like really a good return on investment of the time that it takes you to make that window display.
I just want to like relate that to those of you who are online, because I think while that's so true for brick and mortar, online, I think your window display or hero image is like, it's setting the tone. It's the lifestyle of your brand, right? So I think it's a little bit more lenient online where you can use something that maybe even is out of stock, just to like set the tone of what you're going to see. Because the first question you're trying to answer online is this store for me? Do I trust them? Am I going to find anything? Do I want to keep scrolling? So first impressions, like the only thing you've got with that hero image, and obviously you don't have to undress a mannequin. So a little bit different. Gosh, Sarah, Jeff, I could go all day at this. I know you guys could too. This is so fun, you guys. We have time for probably one more question, and then I know Sarah and Jeff and I all have a meeting to get to for the Boutique Hub. So I just want to tell you sincerely, thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of it this week. Those of you who are members of the Hub, we're in the group every day. Please ask us questions. Those of you who are joining Boutique Boot Camp, Retail Boot Camp, we're really excited to have you. We will be live like this every single Wednesday. We'll do all kinds of Q&A, all the things every single week in Retail Boot Camp. And then you'll get all of our recorded trainings that you can watch anytime. We're hoping to have all of that launch into an app this year to make it easier for you. So there's all kinds of ways to have your questions answered. I hate leaving you hanging today. So let's just finish up. We'll do one last question and then we'll wrap up for today. But I wanted to really tell you guys thank you. It means a ton that you guys all showed up for this week. All right, so last question. Let's go with Melanie.
Hello. We have been in business for almost 7 years, and we've been members, I think, for 6. So we've enjoyed very much learning from you all these years. My question's really specific, so I'm sorry. But about 1.5 years ago, my Facebook got hacked. And they must have posted something horrible because I was never able to recover it. I lost our Instagram because it was tied to that. 5 years gone, couldn't get it back. So I started a new Facebook page, and but then I created a new Facebook profile. Within 2 weeks, Facebook figured out it was me and shut that down. And so then I had to start another profile, very vague, like a picture of my cat, like, you know, one of those deals. And so I'm just always terrified that that's going to get shut down again. It's been 1 year and 3 months now. And so I'm hoping I can put my real name, because I hate being inauthentic on Facebook. Like, I want my name on there. Like, it's weird. But the other thing is I've never been able to reconnect my new Instagram to my my old Facebook. I didn't lose my business page because I had other admins on there, thank God. But I can't connect my Instagram and my Facebook. I've had people come in and try, they can't figure it out, which is okay, but it's just frustrating when you're trying to post, right? I can't use Meta now to post on my Instagram. So I joined Social Bee. Have you heard of that one? And so he went in, and I don't know what he did to be able to get my Instagram so I could post there. But then Facebook flagged me, and now I'm banned from posting ads on Facebook. And so I'm about to the point where I don't want to give him another red cent anyway, because you can't talk to, I tried calling people, I tried emailing, I can't get a hold of anyone at Facebook. So how do I fix that? Do I create another profile just so I can do ads? Like, I'm so frustrated.
So unfortunately, there is no way to overcome that automated response. Once somebody hacks your account and posts something that is inappropriate, Facebook puts a permanent block. There is no way to recover that account, even if you have a direct connect at Facebook. Like, even our rep that we deal with there cannot undo that.
I almost hired a hacker, but I was afraid.
And so the only thing that you could do is, you know, completely start over from scratch. Don't save anything. Don't save the page. Don't save the Instagram page. Don't save the business account. Delete. Right.
Really?
Yeah, really.
am I safe with having other people as admins on my Facebook page? Because it's in my daughter's name now, right? So she's an admin on there. And I didn't lose that when mine got shut down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And so
saying?
did your daughter log in to your original page before it got suspended?
No.
Okay. Because that's the way they track it. They track it by IP address login.
Oh, now I've logged into her account
Yeah.
because I had to get into because I couldn't post anything on my business page.
It's a common misbelief that they track it by username or pictures of your cat. By the way, if Ashley could create a new Facebook profile, it'd probably be pictures of cats, I imagine. But
So I'd have to get a new computer.
Yeah, no, you would. It's by IP address login, and so
I'm sorry, what does that mean?
With the new, it's where your computer's located, like in the world.
Oh my gosh!
You would have to log in through a VPN or something like that from the time of creation forever.
I really hate Facebook right now. Okay.
By the way, your question about having admins on the back end of your account, that's a real safety mechanism, but you have to do it from the beginning. So put your husband on. Put your husband on there.
He's on there. Yeah.
Or put your daughter on there as an admin from the beginning, so that if that ever does happen, they can help you get back in. But that trend where hackers took over the account and immediately published a bunch of pornography or whatever they were doing, that was a real terrible deal.
Oh, it was a nightmare.
Yep.
But now if I want to do Facebook ads I really don't want to, we have so many I can't imagine losing all my followers on Facebook because that's been there since the get-go. Mm-hmm. Can I just do ads as my daughter, or is that going to be a problem?
You could, but the icon at the top of the ad will be your daughter. So that's going to confuse people from the get-go.
When I post ads, even though she's an admin?
Oh, no. So she's an admin on your page, and so then you can still assign it to her page. Yeah, that would work.
Okay. I think I'm just going to chug along. I can't imagine starting over after 7 years.
Give it a shot. I mean, give it a shot. See what your return is. If you can still maintain a 4-to-1 return, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I was hoping for better news, but thank you. That's okay. Thanks so much, you guys.
Oh, thanks, Melanie. We feel for you. That is happening a lot.
That's awful.
Jeff, can you go on? And anyone who's like, oh, gal, this sucks for Melanie. We don't want this to happen to us. What other safety measures can you take? Like, what should everyone be doing to protect their data and their account?
Two-factor authentication. If you do not have two-factor authentication turned on, make sure you do that. I would highly suggest using your cell phone number and not the authenticator tool. The authenticator tool is how they hack your account. And so they get access to your authenticator pass on Google or whichever one you use, and then they hack your account that way. And so just use your cell phone number. So they have to send you a text. It's a pain in the butt. Like every time you go to do anything, they're going to say, oh, wait a second, we got to send you a text. Like it happens all the time, but it is the number one way. And then also when Facebook, bans your account or suspends your account or something like that, if you have your cell phone number listed, you can almost always reactivate your account on mobile easier than you can on desktop. And so they have all these tools that are customized for mobile that aren't on desktop. So just use your cell phone number on that. And then the other one is just like I was just talking about, put somebody in there that's not you. Typically when somebody goes in and hacks your account, they'll look for the account owner. And they'll go in there and they'll immediately go in there and remove the account owner so you no longer have access. Put somebody else in there that has access that's not you. And so
can I do that in Instagram too? I have that in my Facebook, but can I add an admin to Instagram too?
So you add an admin to the Meta Business Suite that has access, an admin over both the Facebook and the Instagram page. And you give them access to the Facebook page. You give them admin access to the Facebook page, the Instagram page, and the ad account. And just like when you assign it, just make it look like a dummy account, like somebody that's not important. And then and put them down on the bottom. But usually when a hacker goes in, they're going to remove the top person or the person that is the account owner. And so that's the other.
Can I start that now?
Yeah,
Add a
do it
person
now.
now.
Do it now. Do it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff, what do you think about paying to be verified every month? Has that helped people since that's become an option?
Yeah, so the payment to be verified has caused more of a headache than it has helped, I think, because now everybody's verification process that's just trying to get verified organically gets hung up at the same step. And so everybody's trying to get verified on Instagram and on Facebook, and like nobody can get through the process unless they pay, even though it's supposed to be available. So that's the headache. The benefit is that once you're verified, there is an appeal process that you have for your account. If something happens, that you do get put directly in touch with a Facebook rep, and they will come and they will say, okay, what happened? And at least you'll have the chance to say, my account got hacked. This is what happened. This is what they posted. I did not post that. Look up their IP address where that post came from, and then they'll turn it back on. And that's the relationship we have at the Boutique Hub, is a rep like that. We've been lucky enough to get a really great one. But like that is the benefit of getting verified.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, guys, that is it. We've come to the end of Best Year Yet 2024. Again, thank you for being here. Thanks for being a part of it. We hope you got a ton of value, lots of notes. So many faces I didn't get to say hi to yet. Mishko, I see you. All kinds of great friends here. So thanks for being a part of our community at the Boutique Hub. We're so blessed to get to do this every single day with you guys. Hopefully we get to see you soon in boot camp or at the Boutique Summit or somewhere inside of membership. But again, thanks. Blessings to your business this year. We're wishing you all the success in the world. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks, guys.